G'day, everyone. I've snuck on early. Hope you're all well. I can see a few of you's in the chat room already. Hope you're having a great weekend, guys. Saturday, the 25th of November. How quickly has this year gone? How quickly is November gone? Everyone's on there. G'day, all the usual suspects are on. Lukey Reed, the diddly donk from Tasmania, is on. Gidgy's on with the blue spanner tonight, guys. Kane Higgins, another diddly donk, the diddly donk from Serena. G'day, Kane. How are you? Landy's on. Nags. Who else was on there that hasn't been on? Chrissy Krug is on tonight. Chris, thanks for joining us, mate. Missed your name in the chat room for a while. Good to see you back. Roachy, Lukey Alexander, he's off putting the kids to Charlotte and that to bed. So Lukey will be back joining us a bit later. And that's good, Lukey, because there's a prize giveaway right at the end of the live feed tonight, mate. Let us know if you can hear me and see me okay, please, guys, because I think, I have. I've got my external microphone plugged in, and hopefully we won't have all that crackly shit. Stephen Lou's on, chasing the sun. Mate, I've got some of the ones you said. I couldn't do them all, mate. It'd go for 8 hours if I did them all. I had to pull it up at some stage. So, but thanks for that. I really appreciate you sending that through anyway. But, yeah, some of them are in there, mate, for sure. Phil W. over the ditch there in New Zealand. G'day, Phil. And, mate, one of the ones you recommended to me, which I don't know if I ever saw it, the Thin Blue Line with Rowan Atkinson, mate. You'll see that tonight, Phil, all going well. We'll see that. And I'll tell you what, I'd love to get the series of that. I don't know if I ever saw it, mate. It was a new one for me. I'm glad you recommended it, mate. It's a bloody absolute cracker. I've been watching a few of the clips on YouTube the last couple of days, and very, very good. As anything with Rowan Atkinson in is, and you'll see him in about 3 different comedies tonight, guys. Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean, The Thin Blue Line, and also Blackadder coming up later in the clip. So stand by for that. Lukey saying g'day to me and Roz. G'day, Lukey. Medical form, and they couldn't take me because of my disability. All right, Kane, at least you had a go, mate. At least you had a go, Kane, and well done for even trying to join the SES, mate. You've got a disability, you couldn't get in, but well done for trying, Kane. Good on you, mate, and that's probably why you can't get in the army as well, mate. So, but anyway, anyone who tries to join the SES and do something for their community, hats off to you, mate. Bloody well done. So don't give up. See if you can get a job at the Serena Pie Bakery, the pie shop there, Kane, and mail me up some Serena pies. They are the best pies in Australia, I reckon. The old bloody Serena Bakery. I had a beef brisket one there the other day, Kane, when I picked the camper trailer up. A beef brisket pie at the Serena Bakery, and my God, it was like a 4-course meal, and it was bloody beautiful. It tasted just like beef brisket as well. It was a good pie. Brendan Milner's on. G'day, Buck. G'day. Phil McCavity's in. Yui Joe down there in Newcastle. Nags. Rob the Wanderer's on. G'day, Rob. How are you, mate? Great live feed the other night with Rob the Wanderer and Teresa from Goombara Valley Campground. That was really good, mate. Really enjoyed that. Went for a couple of hours. Some really good information in there. And tell you what, I'm really looking forward to that camp up, mate, after that the other night. Teresa spoke to her on the phone the other day. Tell you what, we've got a bit in common. I said, g'day, Teresa, it's Buck. I'm up in Innisfail. She said, I know where you are. She said, I used to live in Cardwell, which is only an hour down the road from Innisfail. And Teresa also lived in Wallumbilla. And I lived in Surat, and it's now the Wallumbilla Surat Red Bulls rugby league team out there. So me and Teresa have probably got a bit to talk about when we get out there. Out there touring. G'day, mate. How are you? Trev Kelly sent me a video today, guys, from the Fitzroy River in Rockhampton. Massive crocodile going into the water at the Fitzroy. So if you think it's safe to swim in Rockhampton, think again. Massive lizard in the Fitzroy River at Rocky there, guys. Always taught as a kid, you don't get crocodiles south of Rockhampton. Well, they're definitely in Rockhampton. Saw proof of that today, and as we know, they're even further south than Rocky, well further south than Rocky now. So, yeah, 6 knots is on. G'day, guys. How are you? Gidgy saying g'day to Nags. These comments are going quicker than I can scroll, guys. They really are. The Beaver's on, guys. Jacqueline Dixon. Where's Jacqueline? Oh, Jacqueline, there you are. G'day, Jacqueline. Haven't heard from you for a while. Hope you're well. You're still in Innisfail. We've had a bit of dry weather here, Jacqueline, haven't we, in Innisfail? Starting to dry out, but a couple of nights ago we had a couple of inches of rain, which is good, starting to green things up again. And in probably a month's time, we'll be praying for it to stop raining because it rains so much up here. But it's been good to have a bit of a break from the rain, Jacqueline, hasn't it? It really has. Got the mould under control. Terry G's on, guys. Handcrafted by Terry G. Another legend there. Justin Didden. I was going to say Justin Dillon, the diddly donk, and I said Justin Didden. Justin Dillon, the diddly donk from Victoria, is on. Mr. Bullet, Mr. Grumpy. Mr. Bullet is the new Mr. P. He rang me up the other night, and he was giving me a spray on the phone about the amount of yuppies out there now drinking pod coffees when they're out camping and cooking with induction cooking. Mr. Bullet was going off. Scruffy Bollocks is on again. The best YouTube name. That and the, what is it? The one with the brewery, Steve's Brewery or whatever. That's another good one. Scruffy Bollocks. Hello from London. Scruffy's over there in London. G'day, mate. How are you? Scruffy, isn't it supposed to be bloody? Oh, no, it's coming in summer here. 1 degree in London. You can have that, mate. You can have that. If we get under 20 here in far north Queensland, everyone starts running for the jumpers, mate. 1 degree in London. Bloody hell. Yeah. So Scruffy's on. Haven't seen you for a while too, mate. Hope you're well over there. Steve W. over there in Ascot as well. And Andy Riches. Andy Riches over in the UK. Don't know if Andy's on yet. We've got a few poms that watch. So for all you guys up there in the motherland, thanks for tuning in. Andrew Rumball. Now, there's another good name, Rumball. Oh, it's nearly Rumball time, isn't it? Mum will make another batch of Rumballs this Christmas. And you know what I do? I put them in a bowl, and then I get a bottle of Bundy, and I actually I soak them in real Bundaberg. Mum puts a fair bit in anyway, and I sprinkle a bit of extra Bundy over the top. Mum went to make Rumballs one Christmas a few years ago. I drank the rum. There was none left. Mum went off. She got up me big time. You bloody alcoholic, bloody blah, blah, blah. Mum went to make the rum balls, and I'd necked the rest of the Bundy out of the bottle, so there was none left. So I had to go and buy a new bottle for her. Toddy Higginson. Geez, I'm tongue twisted tonight. I'm on the filthy 4Xs, guys. I went to buy some Hahn mid-strengths the other day, and they were bloody $10 a carton dearer. So I'm back on the old good Queensland beer, the 4Xs. The old 4X Gold, not a bad drop. Try and stick to the mid-strength now as I'm getting older, guys. So I do have a couple of extra. I don't wake up in the morning feeling like shite. Gidgy Gorilla's on there. Yeah, Mum was pissed off when I dropped that Bundy down my throat, Gidgy, and she had no Bundaberg rum left for the rum balls. Mum was furious. And I won't tell you what she said to me on live feed. It wasn't very pleasant. Adam my mum calls a spade a shovel. It's probably where me and Gidgy get it from. You're not wrong. Adam Arnold, good evening, Buck. Hope everyone's well. G'day, Adam. Hope you're well too, mate. Ralph, not Ralph Mouth, Ralph Mouth. Happy birthday, Beaver, for the other day. So, Jacqueline had a birthday. If you had a birthday the other day, Jacqueline, happy birthday for the other day. Happy birthday, Jacqueline. Jeff's Travels. Hi, Landy. Short Cape York for 2024. Remember, if you're travelling up to the Cape, guys, bloody give me a bell. I'll bloody say good day to you on the way through. You've got to drive through Innisfail to get to Cape York. Justin, sugarcane champagne. I haven't heard it called that before, Justin. I'll pay that one. 4X Gold's rubbish. It's better than emu piss and swan piss, Mr. Bullet. Tell you what I used to drink when I was living in Perth, mate. Matilda Bay. Mr. Bullet, do they still? There was a beautiful, on the way down to Fremantle, there was an old building on the left-hand side. It was the Matilda Bay Brewery. And that wasn't a bad drop of beer, Matilda Bay. Do they still make Matilda Bay over there in West Aussie? And if I ever get over there, I want to catch up. I want to go up to Broome. I want to go over to Broome and catch up with Spinifex Breweries there, which is a veteran and Indigenous-owned brewery there in Broome. They make the F88 beer, which they give a lot of that to bloody veterans. Do a few more shout-outs and I'll get on with it, guys. It's 6:35. I came on early because this could be a long one tonight. This could be a log one. Brad Howell's on. Tooheys New is a good beer, Brad. Shit State, good beer. And a shit football team. But Tooheys New is a nice drop. Not as good as Tooheys Old, but, mate, I love Tooheys Old. Used to love, with me cousin, Pete Ketter, we'd get in his old Tirana. Pete, I was underage. I was only about 14, 15. Peter go, Paul Charlie. That was their nickname, me cousins. Paul Charlie. Because there was a Paul Ketter and a Paul Rogers. So they used to call me Paul Charlie to distinguish between the two Pauls. Paulie Ketter, my older cousin, he passed away from brain cancer last year, guys. So, but they go, Paul Charlie, you want to come down to Coolangatta and have a couple of pints, or not middies or whatever they call them in New South, a couple of middies of Tooheys Old. So Pete'd go down and we'd drive down to Coolangatta and Pete'd shout me a couple of Tooheys Olds off the tap. I was underage, but yeah, used to look older than I was. That was a good thing. It's caught up with me now. When I was a young bloke, I used to pass for 18. No one questioned me on my age. But now I'm bloody 58 and don't look a day over 95. So it's caught up with me. F88, near impossible to get in Brisbane. Their marketing department needs a kick in the arse. Yeah, I tried to get them on tap in the Harvey Bay RSL, mate. It was all looking good. I don't know if that ever eventuated. It's a bit of a shame. So Tooheys Extra Dry is a nice beer, Kevin, as well. Absolutely. But we're not here to talk about beers because we'll be here all night talking about beers. F88, yeah, Brad, how good was the F88 on keg? F88, Spinifex Breweries, guys, for the Harvey Bay Mr. Buckaroony camping event last year in August in Harvey Bay. I think we had 2 or 3 kegs of F88 there, and that was a nice beer. It was nice out of a can. It was bloody beautiful out of a keg. That's the best way to have beer, guys. Out of a keg into a glass. That's the best way to do. Rob 2 now is which I can't remember who's Rob 1 and Rob 2. There's Snorky and there's bloody Rob the Wanderer. Rob the Wanderer's on. I haven't seen Snorky come on yet. Anyway, listen, we'll get on with it. Tonight could be an absolutely brilliant night, or it could get spoilt by YouTube. Someone said, Buck, be careful of copyright. I've got a lot of videos up the top of my screen there ready to go to show you. If we get copyrighted, guys, and you see me talking, and there's no, it's happened to me once before, YouTube will shut my audio down. If that happens, I won't be able to play the videos of all these comedies I've got up there, which will be an absolute shame. I've got some stills. We can still talk about them if I don't get shut down. Listen, plan B, if they do log me off and it turns to shit, I'll just get back on YouTube, create a new live feed, and I'll come on again and we'll just talk. We'll just have a jibber jabber about funny shows, guys, like we did the other night. This one, I put a lot of time and effort into this, guys, and I mean a lot of time and effort doing research and all that. I can't talk about every comedy out there. If I talked about every comedy, and I'm talking about Hello, and there's a lot of other ones, I just can't do them all, guys. There's too many. I've just picked some of my favourites. There's a fair few still, but if I pick every comedy, someone went down a rabbit hole and started talking about funny cartoons. That's a live feed in itself. Just, Bugs Bunny and all that. I can't do the cartoon stuff, guys. There was too much to talk about. This is going to be a long one, so I hope you've got some beers ready. It will be a long one if I don't get copyrighted. I've tried to keep any music out. I had a few clips there that there was background music. I've tried to get rid of that, so there's no music in the background. I hope we get through unscathed. If we don't, so be it. I'll just go with a slideshow. And hey, listen, if I get bloody jammed totally, like Kaz does sometimes, I'll just log off, guys, and I'll come back on and we'll just have a normal jibber jabber. So if you do lose me, don't panic. I will come back on. I'll just have to create a new live stream. So, but anyway, Luce, F Troop is in there, mate. Guaranteed. That is one of my favourite. F Troop is in there. Absolutely. So we'll get on with it soon. Now, listen. Mrs. Brown's Boys was one that missed out, Newy Joe. That is a funny show. We talked about Mrs. Brown's Boys the other night. No, I don't have a video of Mrs. Brown's Boys. And there's probably going to be a lot of Stephen Liu being an ex-vet. Yeah, so I've picked. There's quite a few here, guys. There's a lot. I can't do them all. I can't do them all. If your favourite one misses out, stiff shit, or as they say in Russia, stiffsky shitsky. If they miss out on the buses, no, Paulies, that's not on there. Hogan's Heroes will be. Anyway, I don't want to give it all away. There's some bloody beauties in here, but let me tell you. So, make sure you hang around to the end of the live stream, everyone, because I'm doing a prize giveaway. The patches, the Buckaroony and Gidgee Gorilla patches have hit Sydney, and they are somewhere between Sydney and Cairns. I think it takes longer. Once they get into Australia, it takes longer to get to me than it does to get from, it went from China, Hong Kong, Singapore, Sydney in 2 days, and it'll take longer. Now that it's in Australia, everything slows down with Australia Post and that, and it'll take longer to get to me. So I'll get them next week sometime. End of the thing, I'm going to put a photo up of 4 famous Australians, and you're going to have to tell me who they are, their first names from left to right. So stand by, and whoever gets it first is going to win, be the first ever to win a Mr. Buckaroony Velcro patch, a Rafa the Dog Velcro patch, and a couple of Gidgee Gorilla Velcro patches. And they look pretty good anyway. So stand around to the end, and I'll stay around to the end, and we'll do a prize giveaway. I'm going to flash a quick photo up, and you've got to tell me what their names are. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. 4 famous Australians. I've got a photo of 4 famous Australians, left to right. Tell me who they are. You win a Velcro patch kit, which I haven't got yet, but I'll post them out. Anyway, get in there if you want to. George and Mildred's another one that didn't go on there, Toddy. Another show that I used to watch. Anyways, no, George and Mildred don't rate a mention in this either, mate, because it would have gone for 8 hours if I did them all. There were some good ones I've missed out on, and I know there's some good, like George and Mildred, that I have missed out on. 115 on. Beauty. Righto. We're over 100. Let's get into it, guys. Saturday night. This will be, I just hope I don't get jammed by YouTube on a copyright, because if I do, it's going to spoil the night. But we'll see how we go. So I'm going to start off with a couple of my favourites. I was born in 1965. So I know a lot of you in the chat room are around my age. Some of you are a bit younger as well. Mr. Bullet. Mr. Bullet's probably the oldest one in the thing. Mr. Bullet was around before TV was even invented, guys. That's how old he is. So ZZ Top's on. There's a new one. How's that dot going from Fuller going? Looks like a good rig. It is ZZ. It was ZZ Top. It is good, mate. Sitting in the shed. I drove it up here and parked it in the shed, mate. I won't be camping in that until next year, till the bloody thing. But I'll be tinkering around with it in the meantime. But we're not here to talk about camping tonight. Astro Boy cartoon will not be on. Let me guarantee you that. Matty and Debbie Laxo. I had a good chat with Matty Laxo the other day. Victorian government's a great comedy. So is the Queensland one. And so is the federal one. Let's not go down that rabbit hole at the moment. Righto. Going to get into it, guys. After we do this, if we get through unscathed on some funny comedies from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, why does my nose get itchy every time I do a live feed? I notice that when I watch them back, I'm always scratching my nose because my nose gets itchy. Might be because I'm telling porky pies. I don't know. So we're going to go through the comedies, and then at the end, we're going to go through and show you some of my favourite heartthrobs from when I was a young fella, and you'd see a gorgeous-looking girl on TV in one of these shows. I'm going to bring up some of my favourite heartthrobs. But don't worry, girls, it's not all about me. I've got some of the heartthrobs for the girls coming up as well. So stick around, and we'll talk about the heartthrobs after we do the comedy. So here we go. 129 on. We're up at now, it was 115. We're up to 129. I'm going to start the comedy thing. I'll try and do I'll bring this up here. Here we go. Can everyone see that? Let me know if you can see that. And tell me what show that's out of, guys. Does anyone remember that show? Does anyone remember that show there? I'll just maximize that. And then I'll bloody exit out of there again. Hot Lips Houlihan, yeah, we'll see her a bit later on. Michael played, he's 64, a bit older than me. I'm a 65 vintage, mate. Oh, 64 EH, good stuff. What show's that out of, guys? That was one of my favourites. This is an old pommy one from the 1970s. Tim Ryan's got it. It Ain't Half Hot Mum. It Ain't Half Hot Mum was based about in World War II, and basically what you see there, it was an artillery entertainment unit in Burma or in British, up in India during World War II. And they used to entertain the troops. And they were all bloody singers and dancers and all that. The angry bloke in that photo there is the Sergeant Major. Okay. And he hated him. He always referred to him as a bunch of puffs and that. He hated him. He used to give him a hard time. One of the best comedies. That guy at the front there with the pith helmet on, Lofty, Don Estelle, his real name was a fantastic singer and had a beautiful voice. Anyway, I'm going to go in now. I'm going to try and show you. If you had never seen this show, watch it. The first clip is basically shows the Sergeant Major and how he gets up him and yells and that. Windsor Davies was the RSM's name, or the Sergeant Major's name. He actually served in he was conscripted in 1950 to 1952 in the British Army. He's a Welshman, and he was, I've got it here. Windsor was called up for national service between 1950 and 1952, served in Libya and Egypt with the British Army while he was on national service. And they reckon he was served in the East Surrey Regiment, and he was a great mimic, and they reckon he was a real funny bugger when he was in the real army, a funny bugger, and he was always doing impersonations of the officers. So he sounds like he's a bit of a character, and I cannot think of a better person to play this part. His Sergeant Major voice is on point, guys. If any ex-army guys out there, this bloke, he's got the Sergeant Major thing down pat. You'll see him salute a bit later. Everything is down pat because he is ex-military. So we'll sit back now. I'm going to present the first one of the night. Fingers crossed, guys, that we don't get copyrighted, eh? Share me screen. Here we go. I'll maximise that. This is the Sergeant Major, guys.
You enjoying your tea, Gunner?
Yes, thank
you. What the hell's going on? Where have you been? The rest of the draft arrived yesterday. You are 24 hours late.
Well, you see...
Shut up! Now, Mr. Lardy-Dar Gunner Graham, what did you think you was doing sitting down by there drinking tea? Why wasn't you whitening them stones?
I'm terribly sorry, Sergeant.
Shut up!
Hey, the hands I love beside the Sally Moore.
Where have you been, Gunner?
Sorry, Sergeant Major. I'm not well. I've got a Bombay trots.
Have you been eating bananas without cutting the ends off? Is that the only hat you've got, Gunner?
Yes, Sergeant Major. It's MO's orders. It protects my head from the sun. I've got very thin skull bones.
Well, you know why that is, don't you?
No.
You've got such a huge brain. It's rubbing on the inside and wearing your head out. So funny. Mr. Lardy-Dar Gunner Graham. You wouldn't know the difference if I climbed up your nostrils and kicked your brains out. But there's one thing you've got to remember, lovely boy. when you were up there in Burma wading through swamps, with slant-eyed Japanese waiting for you behind every tree. Your university education won't do you much good up there, will it?
No, Sergeant Major.
No, Sergeant Major.
I know, boy. I had 2 years up in that jungle, playing hide and seek with those sons of the rising sun. And I am going to make sure that you, and the rest of you, puffs, end up right there. Oh, I know you were the Colonel's favorites, but he's only got to take one step outside this camp, and I'll have you on that train and up the jungle so fast your feet won't touch the ground.
Righto, how do I get rid of this now? I'll go back to this one. Close that one down. Go back there. Bear with me, guys. I've got bloody shit all over my screen here. Did everyone see that? Let me know if that came up all right, guys, that first one, and whether you can still hear me now. Reminds me of Ali Ermy. Yeah, Mike Blake. Hey, Mike Blakely's on over in the States. Mike, this one here, it was an old 1970s British comedy, and they're in India during World War II, and the Sergeant Major there, he's the Sergeant Major of an entertainment troupe that used to entertain the infantry soldiers and all that, and he hated them because they were pogues, basically, and yeah, he used to give them a hard time, but that guy plays a very, very good British Sergeant Major. His voice is on tap, so all good. Everyone saw that one all right. Okay, I'm going to get straight into another one. This one here, I used to love watching with my dad. I'm going to do another Ain't Half Hot Mum. This one here this is a good one too. And basically, he's teaching them how to put the flag up and down the flagpole and do all that. And he gets Lofty. He finds out Lofty used to play in a boys band or whatever, in a band, and a bugle band. And he gets Lofty to play the last post. Watch this one. It's an absolute crack up. Watch Lofty. He's trying not to laugh. I think it was filmed before a live studio audience, this show back in the 70s. Let's have another go here. This is a good one as well. The last post, this one's called. Here we go.
While we have still got some insanity left, we will pass on to the actual lowering ceremony. Colonel Parkins.
Sir?
Stand by on the string.
Yes, sir.
The guard commander gives the order to present arms. And when this maneuver has been completed, the string man commences to lower the Union Jack, slowly and relevantly, while the bugler plays the last post. Is that clear?
Sergeant Major.
Shut up.
Won't let him get a word in.
Guard! Present! Eyes! Parkins.
That's a good
lower
story.
away.
Yes,
Slowly, boy, and relevantly. Bugler, play.
The Lofty trying not to laugh here.
Your records clearly state that for 2 years you was a member of the Boys Bugle Band. Is that right?
Yes, Sergeant Major.
Then what was you doing?
I was the drummer.
Oh, there you go. Oh, you can see what's coming up next, Dad's Army. So there you go. He got Lofty to play the bugle, and because he was in a bugle band or something before the war, but Lofty was the drummer. So that was a good old. That was a good one. As you can see, a little bit of racist stuff there, Japanese slanty eyes, and referring to, you puffs, Mike Blakely. A puff is a British and Australian word, a puff or a puffter for a homosexual, mate. So the rest of you puffs, the Sergeant Major was referring to them as being homosexuals. Back in the 70s, it wasn't a big deal, was it, guys? And we see a lot of these old comedies. There is some racist and homophobic stuff in there. It was funny back in the 70s. If you did that now, imagine that airing on TV now and referring to guys as puffs and that. People would have their balls in an uproar. They really would. So, but that's, yeah. Lofty could actually play, okay. Well, I'll tell you now, Mr. Bullet, Lofty was a very, very, very good singer. If you want to watch that, and I was going to play this, but it had music, guys, and I thought I'd get copyrighted. Put in Lofty singing Green Acres, and it's him and the Sergeant Major, not on this show. They're dressed up in character. Lofty singing a song called Green Acres. He's got a beautiful voice. He was a very, very good singer in real life, young Lofty. And little Lofty, and he played a magnificent part there, as did the Sergeant Major. Windsor Davies passed away now. They're both dead now, those two characters there. You'll probably find a lot of the characters we see tonight have passed away. So that was a good old pommy comedy from the 1970s. It Ain't Half Hot, Mum. The next one is another great old British comedy. One of my dad's favourites. Me and Dad used to love watching this one. I'll present this one now. We've seen that one. There they are there. I want to talk a bit about Dad's Army. Mike Blakely, I don't know, put a thing up. Mike, have you heard of these shows? Green Acres. Yeah, Green Acres won't appear tonight either. Mike Blakely, have you heard of these shows, mate? It Ain't Half Hot, Mum, and Dad's Army. Dad's Army was a very, very good show. It was all good, clean fun. There's no swearing and all that type of stuff. I hope you can see my cursor. From left to right, we've got Private Godfrey. Arnold Ridley was his real name. The guy back left in this 1970s comedy, he was in the army, the British Army during World War I, guys, and was bayoneted through the groin and butt stroked by a German soldier in the Battle of the Somme in 1916. The guy third along, Wilson, who is a Scottish guy, he's also a World War I veteran. Unbelievable. The only person alive in this photo now is Pike, the guy with the scarf around his, Ian Lavender, his real name was. He's in his 80s now. He's still alive. Jonesy, the bloke with the bayonet, and they don't like it up him, Captain Mannering, and he was always running around saying, don't panic. Jonesy, front left, he was a prisoner of war in World War II. He was in British Armoured Corps and was taken prisoner in World War II and was a prisoner of war for 4 years. Captain Mannering, I think, also served from memory in World War II. Arthur Lowe was his real name. This is one of the best comedies out there as far as I'm concerned. It was a bloody, use my finger. So old Arnold Ridley served on the Somme in World War I. Absolutely incredible. I'll remove that now and we'll go in and I'll show you a little bit of Dad's Army. This one here, guys, they were home guard. They were too old. Pike had some sort of disability, so he couldn't join the army. And the rest of them were too old. So they were the home guard. They used to run the spotlights and all that type of thing during World War II. Somehow they've managed a U-boat crew and they've been put in charge of a captured German U-boat crew for the night. This one is funny. Here we go. Takes a little while to get this up. Here we go.
I tell you, Wilson, they're a nation of automatons, led by a lunatic who looks like Charlie Chaplin.
How dare you compare our glorious leader with that non-Aryan clown?
Oh, look here.
I am making notes, Captain. And your name will go on the list. And when we win the war, you will be brought to account.
You're right, what you like. You're not going to win this war.
Oh, yes, we are.
Oh, no, you're not.
Oh, yes, we are. Whistle while you work. Hitler is at work. He's half army, so's his army. Whistle while you... Your name will also go on the list. What is it?
Don't tell him, Pike.
Pike.
I've had enough of you. You tell your men that they've got to stay here for the night and they better behave themselves. Now get on with it.
Uncle Arthur. Well, what is it, Frank? Well, it's not fair my name going on the list. I was only joking.
You really must try and be more careful. You must realise by now that the Germans have absolutely no sense of humour.
Well, he said much worse things about Hitler. He said much worse things about Hitler than I...
Here you go.
Look, do you think if you had a nice word with him, he'd take my name off?
I'll have a nice word.
Also, wenn ich so tue, als ob ich Magenschmerzen habe, sollt ihr alle aufpassen, aufmerksam sein. Verstanden?
Yeah. Should we tell them what I said?
Ja.
Walker. Yeah. The fish and chip shop still open?
Yeah, I think so. Why?
Here's 10 shillings. Go and buy some for the prisoners.
Oh, right. Right. Now then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. 8 cotton chips.
I want place.
Place obviously a type of fish in England.
It's 1 place and chips. 7 cotton chips. Right, who wants vinegar?
Also aufpassen. Wie viel von euch wollen Essig?
1, 2, 3, 4 of vinegar. Who wants salt?
So bitte mal aufpassen. Wie viele von euch wollen Salz?
1, 2, 3 for salt. Who don't want salt or vinegar?
Also zum dritten Mal. Wie viele ohne Salz oder Essig?
That's 2 without salt or vinegar. Here, come here. Just see if I've got this right. Now, you want place and chips. They're going to have cotton chips, and that's 4 with vinegar, 3 with salt, and 2 without salt or
Walker,
vinegar.
what are you doing?
I'm taking the order.
And I don't want any nasty, soggy chips.
Oh, dear. Don't tell them, Pike. Pike! That was a good one. Yeah, so some of the guys in that show actually served, Wilson and Godfrey served in World War One. And I think Captain Mannering did as well. And who was the other one? Jonesy was taken prisoner of war for 4 years. So they've been there and done that. And Mike, if you haven't seen it, if you can get your hands on some of these British comedies, mate, watch them. They're very, very funny. They're good, clean, funny humour. It really was. And especially some of the stuff they do, Dad's Army, God, they get themselves into trouble. They really do. They're just a bunch of bumbling buffoons who just cannot do anything right. And it's one of the best British comedies to ever be on TV, I reckon, that one. Righto, our next one, guys. Hopefully, anyone know what he was actually saying in German? Mike, it was hopefully something to do with salt and vinegar and who knows? I don't know. Anyway, so let's go again. Oh, this one. Here we go, guys. That's old Arnold, really. That's Private Godfrey out of Dad's Army. That's a real picture here of him during World War One, Lance Corporal. And as I said, he was actually seriously wounded in the Battle of the Somme in 1916. Unbelievable. So there you go. He wasn't a young man there. And you know what? He went on and he volunteered for World War II as well. And apparently he just wasn't physically up to it and whatever. Got in his first battle of World War II and got shell shock again or whatever. And they sent him home. But what a wonderful man to serve in the trenches in World War One and then back it up again in World War II. And went on to become a comedian, you know. He didn't play a big part in Dad's Army. Next one here, Mike Blakely. You've probably never seen this idiot either. Michael Crawford's his real name. That's Frank Spencer and Betty. This guy, he is a classic definition of a diddly donk. If you want to know what a diddly donk is, it's Frank Spencer. Michael Crawford's his real name. In real life, he was a magnificent opera singer and played the main part in Phantom of the Opera. So Michael Crawford, that's him there. And now as I said, a wonderful opera singer. But have a look what he did. He also played an absolute diddly donk in a thing called Some Mothers Do Have 'Em. And we're going to watch that one now. Hadn't been copyrighted yet, guys. We're going okay. I shouldn't speak too soon. Righto. Let's get in and watch Frank Spencer and just have a look at just how Frank's a removalist in this one. Have a look at this one.
Lucky I brought them with me.
What the hell's that?
First day on the job. Oh dear. So there you go. That's a quick one of Frank Spencer. The show is called, if you haven't seen that, the pussy did a whoopsie in the bedroom or something. That's right, Paulie Martin. Yeah. So Frank Spencer, some mothers do have them. That was a good, once again, 1970s. That was that was on TV between 73 to 78. I've actually written it down. And Dad's Army, guys, that went from the old black and white days, 1968 right through to 1977, Dad's Army. And It Ain't Half Hot Mum, the first one, went from 74 to 81. So that was on TV for a while. But some mothers do have them, 73 to 78. It was on for 5 years. So the next one was another silly pommy comedy called Are You Being Served? About basically, this one I used to watch a fair bit because when I lived out in West Queensland, we only got the ABC, and the ABC used to do a lot of these. They ran a department store in London or something, and it was quite funny. And the guy that plays Mr. Humphreys, bit of ahead of his time, guys. He played a gay man, and back in those days, it was kind of frowned upon. But he openly played a gay man in this show, and he played a very, very, very good part. Let's watch a bit of it now. I won't show you the whole clip. It goes for a little while, but I'll just show you the start, and it gives you a bit of an idea. Are You Being Served is the name of this show. Sorry, it takes me so long to get into it. Here we go.
Where's Mr. Humphreys? Is he free?
I'm free.
Marvelous well.
Is Peacock there?
I'm afraid you've come through to Gnome Land. Captain Peacock is just showing a prospective tenant around the Wendy house. Peter Pan!
What is it, Mr. Humphreys?
Mr. Rumbold wants you.
Can you take over from me?
I'm afraid not, Captain Peacock. I'm right in the middle of demonstrating the magic mushroom tree. I'll take over.
By the way, can you stay behind tonight?
Oh, no, Captain Peacock. No, my mother's, Have you got penetrating eyes?
Must have been hot in the store.
You shall go to the ball.
So there we go. That was one called Get Off There. That was one called Are You Being Served? And I do remember watching that when I was a young fella, and it was a bit silly at times, but that bloke played a very, very good part. Righto, I've done the first page here, guys. Let's go over. What's my next one? I'll make sure I'm in order here. How good is this one? Blackadder. And the guy there, Rowan Atkinson, you'll see him in 3 different shows here. Rowan Atkinson, one of the best comedians out there, one of the best British comedians. Plays Mr. Bean, if you don't know. He also plays Blackadder. There was a series of Blackadders, 4 series, guys. The first one was the British Middle Ages. I must admit, I haven't seen series 1, 2, and 3. I've only seen series 4, which is the one from World War One. Very, very good. Series 2, was during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I in the 1500s. Series 3 was the late 18th, early 19th century, and Series 4 was World War One. So very, very clever series trying to say, what are you doing, Buck? So I'll remove that. This one here, the little clip I'm going to show you from Blackadder, basically they're in the trenches in World War One. The general's carrier pigeon turns up in the trench. Captain Blackadder, who's Rowan Atkinson, shoots the pigeon and eats it. And the general court-martials him. Sit back and watch this. This is bloody funny. Present. Here we go. Blackadder getting court-martialed.
Don't worry, old man. I have a last, and I think you'll find decisive witness. Call Private Baldrick. Call Private Baldrick.
Deny everything, Baldrick.
Are you Private Baldrick?
No.
Oh, but you are Captain Blackadder's Batman.
No.
On, Baldrick, be a bit more helpful. It's me.
No, it isn't.
Sir, I must protest.
Quite right. We don't need your kind here, Private. Get out. Now, George, someone.
Right, yes.
It didn't last.
Gentlemen, you have heard all the evidence presented before you today, but in the end, it is up to the conscience of your hearts to decide. And I firmly believe that, like me, you will conclude that Captain Blackadder is, in fact, totally and utterly guilty. Of nothing more than trying to do his duty under difficult circumstances.
Nonsense. He's a hound and a rotter, and he's going to be shot. However, before we proceed to the formality of sentencing the deceased, I mean the defendant, I think we'd all rather enjoy hearing the case for the prosecution. Captain Darling, if you please.
Sir, my case is very simple. I call my first witness, General Sir Anthony Cecil Hogmanay Merchant.
This is the guy behind the pigeon.
General, did you own a lovely, plump, speckly pigeon called Speckled Jim, which you hand-reared from a chick and which was your only childhood friend?
Yes. Yes, I did.
And did Captain Blackadder shoot the aforementioned pigeon?
Yes, he did.
Can you see Captain Blackadder anywhere in this courtroom?
That's him! That's him! That's the man!
No more questions, sir.
Splendid, excellent, first class. That's the way, come on. I therefore have absolutely no hesitation in announcing that the sentence of this court is that you, Captain Edmund Blackadder, be taken from this place and suffer death by shooting tomorrow at dawn. Do you have anything to say?
Yes. Could I have an alarm call, please?
So there you go, Blackadder, Rowan Atkinson. That is very, very well done. How did they keep straight faces when they're doing those skits? I do not know. If you haven't seen Blackadder, there's 4 series. I've only seen series 4, which is the World War One. So yeah, very well done. The Jeff's Travel saying the Blackadder Firing Squad series is hilarious. I'll tell you now, for a funny show, watch the last episode of series 4 of Blackadder. And basically it goes from, no, gone, I'm off. It happened. Yeah. Okay. I'll wait till I come back on. Spewing. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. just mute you so they can't hear you. I give you a warning, so I won't be able to do it again. Right, having a tinkle break. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, guys? Am I back? YouTube face, purple sweating, yeah. How we going, Roz? I'm on, am I? Righto. Yes. Worth a try. Yeah, I know, Adam. Bloody hell. I'm back. Okay, guys. I think that's YouTube giving me a warning. I'm not going to push. I've got a lot of those videos ready to go up the top. I'm not going to be able to play them. Otherwise, I think the next one, they'll throw me off totally and it's going to spoil the night. So sorry about that, everyone. We gave it a crack. But all's not lost. I've got a plan B. Well, I've just got some stills. We can still talk about the comedies. I'm bloody spewing because I know guys like Mike Blakely over in the US may not have seen some of these British shows before, like It Ain't Half Hot Mum, Dad's Army, Blackadder. I wanted people, and there's a lot of you guys may not have, some of you younger people that weren't around in the 70s may not have seen these shows before. And if you haven't, you've got to go and watch them, guys. Try and get your hands on a DVD set or something because they are bloody funny. They really are. Yeah, Burko saying that was such a shame. It is. Anyway, YouTube's given me a warning, guys. Something to do with copyright. I'm tipping not all of them are copyrighted. It sounds like the Blackadder one may have been copyrighted, which pisses me off. The two Ronnies are coming up. I had a great skit of the two Ronnies coming up. The two Ronnies are coming up, Craig. And, yeah, I know, Michael, an absolute joke, mate. Here I am trying to bloody give everyone a bit of a laugh, and I'm not getting any money out of this. I'm not monetized on YouTube. It's not like I'm sitting here playing other YouTube clips and making money from it. That's not it. I'm not monetized. I'm just doing this for a bit of enjoyment and to give everyone a bit of a laugh. So, yeah, how can we watch them for a fee, but you can't show? Oh, I know, exactly right, Freddie. It's bloody disappointing. Someone warned me out. He said, Buck, be careful of copyright. He said this could turn to shit on you. Well, at least I'm still on. The young ones, Vivian, yeah, the young ones wasn't there. But anyway, let's go through. Hey, listen, what did we get? We saw It Ain't Half Hot Mum. We saw Dad's Army. We saw Frank Spencer. We saw Are You Being Served? And we saw a bit of Blackadder. And then they came down on me, guys. So anyway, all's not lost. We can still talk about them, can't we? There it is, the Blackadder crew there. Absolutely fantastic thing. And if you get onto YouTube and look up Blackadder outtakes and stuff like that, they're a bunch of funny buggers. They really are. Really, really funny. That's one of the Blackadder stills, guys, from one of the medieval English Elizabethan era. I haven't seen the other three series. Maybe I should get the DVD set. Not that I've got anything that plays a DVD now, and watch the other Blackadder series. Because I'm so bloody military orientated, guys, I just zoomed in on the part for the series 4 where they were in World War One. So anyway, Blackadder, guys, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. This one here, I'm spewing. I've got all these stills. I've got a funny clip. And I'm not going to play him now. Does anyone know who this guy was? Does any old farts remember who this guy was? He's Irish. I'll wait for it to come up, and that way I'll drag the night out a little bit more. It won't go too quick. Yeah, Series 4 is the most popular of the Blackadder. Absolutely. Dave Allen. Robin Green said, Dave Allen, everyone. Dave Allen was an Irish comedian. German Coast, we are sinking. German Coast Guard. What are you thinking? Jennifer G, you diddly donk. So there's Dave Allen. I used to watch him, and Dave used to sit there, and he used to do skits as well, a bit like the two Ronnies. He used to sit there and tell jokes to a live audience, but he also used to do skits as well. Sit there drinking an Irish whiskey, and I think his left hand was missing half a finger. He was missing a finger on his left hand, I think, every time he picked his whiskey up. And he was a funny, funny, funny man. Dave Allen, got a funny feeling he might still be alive too. Yeah, I will. Gidgy. Phil said, who was it? Phil the Maniac, is it? Or Phil W? I will. I'll put a list of all these up so you can go on YouTube, guys. Go on to Mr. Buccaroony Facebook tomorrow, and I might even on Facebook, if Facebook allow me to do it, put the actual clips up and go, here are the clips that I wanted you to watch. That's what I'll do tomorrow, guys, or even tonight, is if you go on the Buccaroony Facebook page, I'll attach all these clips that I was going to show you tonight, and you can watch them on the one's Dave Allen telling a joke about homosexuals and all that, which probably, once again, 1970s guys, you could get away with it. For all you younger people in here, you'll see how things change from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and through to now. My goodness, some of these comedians wouldn't get away with this shit, not on TV, but very, very funny. And if you take it the way it's intended, it is funny. I'm sure they didn't mean any malice by their jokes. They're just good, funny jokes. Dave Allen, check Mr. Buccaroony Facebook out tomorrow. I'm glad, Gidgy, someone came on and mentioned that. I will do that. So you'll get to see the clips that I was going to show you tonight. Bloody hell, YouTube, if you're watching. Friggin' hell, talk about party poopers. Really? Here they are. Hey, get back there. The two Ronnies. Ronnie Corbett and Ronnie Barker. If you haven't seen these guys, you missed out on two very special comedians. The two Ronnies were very, very funny men. And Ronnie Barker died. Ronnie Barker on the right-hand side. He was also in a comedy called Porridge. He was a prisoner in a British prison. It was a comedy, and it was a comedy called Porridge. Very, very funny. That was with Ronnie Barker. But together they were called the two Ronnies, and their real names were Ronnie Barker on the right and Ronnie Corbett on the left. Ronnie Corbett was only a short man. Very, very funny. Andy Riches is on. Speaking of Poms, Andy's on. Morning to the Kelly Kettle Maestro. Everyone else. Did you get Only Fools and Horses in Australia? Andy, I don't recall that one. Mr. Bullet may. I don't know. But I'll tell you now, Andy, we've got some American comedy ones coming up. But I'll tell you what, I think the Poms have got it. I don't know. I think Australians, we relate to British humour a little bit more than maybe American humour. I think that's where we get our strange sense of humour from, is from the Poms. And these two here, guys, make sure you watch the one. They doing a crossword. Ronnie Corbett, the little fella's doing a crossword out of The Sun, which was a newspaper in England. And on page 3, you always had Samantha Fox and the Boob Girls on page 3. Ronnie Barker plays. He's doing a crossword on the train, and it's a real up level. And Ronnie Corbett, watch it tomorrow. Very, very funny skit on it. It's about a crossword. Bloody very, very good. If you haven't seen the two Ronnies, get in and watch them, guys. Pull them up on YouTube. They were very, very funny comedians. They really were. And a lot of people say, oh, Buck, if you could go back and meet people, alive or dead, these two are right up there. These two are right up there. I would love to have gone out to dinner with these two and sat back and just listened to them talk. They were very, very funny men. Bloody, as I said, Ronnie Corbett, Ronnie Corbett, the little fella, he died in 2016, guys, at about nearly 90 years old. So had a good innings. This one here is an Aussie one. It was a bit silly. Looking back now, it was a little bit silly. Ted Ballpit, or Kingswood Country it was called, And I think only Aussies would probably get the humour in this. It was a little bit, I don't know. It was funny back then. I sat back the last couple of days and watched a few Kingswood Country or Ted Bullpit things, and it was a little bit, looking back now, I don't reckon it aged real well. It was a bit childish, actually, if anything. Ross Higgins was the bloke who played Ted Bullpit. I think only Australians would get it. What was funny, but the bloke sitting on his left there, the Greek-looking guy, that was his son-in-law. His son-in-law was Greek, and he married his daughter, obviously. And he used to he'd always come around and steal beers out of Ted Bullpit's fridge, and he was always going bloody wogs, which was a derogatory term. Not too derogatory. It was more of a funny derogatory term that Aussies call Greeks and Italians. We used to call them wogs back in the day, and if you said it now, it'd be offensive. But back in the 70s and that, depending on how the context, you go, oh, bloody, but it was always said in a funny way, bloody wogs, too bloody tight to go around and buy your own beers. And his son-in-law was always stealing beers out of his fridge. Righto, so that was Kingswood Country. I was going to show you a clip of that. And basically, Ted Bullpit was taking the piss out of Aussie Rules players because he was a rugby fan and he was taking the piss out of rugby. So all the Vicks would have got their knickers in and not there. Here's another one. Paul Hogan, Mike Blakely. There you go. Crocodile Dundee in his younger days, mate. Used to be a painter on the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Hogs. Then he went into comedy. And he used to do a lot of comedy skits in the 70s and early 80s on TV here in Australia. Just simple, funny comedy. And he used to have a couple of characters. One of them was Leo Wanker, a stuntman. And Leo Wanker's stunts always went wrong. And every time they went wrong, the safety guys would come in and hit him with the fire extinguisher and that. One of them was like Leo Wanker. He's trying to do a big jump on his motorbike. And motorbike wouldn't start. So then you see him get the cigarette lighter out, take the fuel cap off. He's trying to light the cigarette lighter to see how much fuel he's got. Next thing he goes up in flames and they run out and put him out with the fire extinguishers. That was Paul Hogan before he went and made it big in a movie called Crocodile Dundee. And then we went over to America, made Crocodile Dundee 2, stayed in America. I don't know. Maybe it went to his head a bit, old Hogs. He's in his 80s now. He's an old man. But back in his day, you can see he was a bit of a fit lad. And he was a very, very funny man. He had characters called Leo Wanker, Detective Sergeant Arthur Donger, who used to have a big beer gut on him, and he used to belly bump the crims into the wall and give him the phone book treatment, all that type of stuff. So there's Paul Hogan. Mike Blakely, if you've never seen a young Crocodile Dundee, we call him Hogs here in Australia. He's known as Hogs. And here's a quick story for you. I got roped into doing the opening of the Sydney Entertainment Centre in 1983 as a young soldier. And bugger me, we went out in front of 10,000 people in our army uniforms doing aerobics with Richard Simmons. Remember Richard Simmons, the gay aerobics guy from America? He had all the army guys around the stage, like 10,000 people in the crowd. And I got roped into that. And I'll put a picture up on Facebook so you know I'm not talking shit. A young Buck Rogers, 17 years old, walking past squadron headquarters one day, and the sergeant major comes out and goes, Sig Rogers, what are you doing on the weekend? And I didn't answer quick enough. He goes, good, you just volunteered. We didn't know what we'd volunteered for. It was the opening of the Sydney Entertainment Centre. There were some big names there, and I got to see them, and I got to stand near them at the after party. We're all in our army uniforms. And I'm talking about Mike Blakely, if you're watching. John Denver was there. John Denver, Christopher Cross, another American singer. Paul Hogan was there. Some big Australian names, Darryl Braithwaite, Marsha Hines and all that. But they had some big international guests there as well. Peter Allen. Remember Peter Allen singing Tenterfield Saddler and that. Peter Allen was one of the big acts there. It was hosted by Mike Walsh and Bert Newton. And we got roped in and we ended up doing, I'll do another live feed one night and tell you the full story of me doing aerobics with Richard Simmons. if you've ever seen Richard Simmons, get up off your tushies. One of them guys. I got roped into that. I'll put a picture up on Facebook so you know I'm not full of shit. Hogs was there that night, and this is when he was Hogs, before he was Crocodile Dundee, and he did a skit up on stage in front of 10,000 people with all the spotlight, and he was called Mac and Hogs, and he was doing a skit, and he was pretending to be John McEnroe, the tennis player. And if you type Mac and Hogs into YouTube, you'll probably find it. And he's when John McEnroe, the tennis player, used to have his tantrums, Hogs does a skit on John McEnroe, and it was bloody funny. And you know what? John Denver went on singing Rocky Mountain High, Country Roads, Take Me Home, and all those songs. We went on after with Richard Simmons, and we went on after John Denver. And we were in the tunnel waiting to go out on stage, and John Denver had just come off stage, and he said he saw us all lined up ready to go out with Richard Simmons, and he come in and said, "Good luck, guys, good luck." Anyway, as we know, John Denver was killed in a plane accident. So I actually got to see John Denver live, Christopher Cross, Peter Allen, like some big names back in the 80s, guys, in the early 80s. And Hogs was one of them. I got to see Hogs live as well. I never got to talk to Hogs, unfortunately, but I got to see him do Mac and Hogs. Type that into YouTube and see if you can find him. Opening the Sydney Entertainment Centre, 1983, Mac and Hogs, and you should be able to find it there. How about this one? Our first Yankee one for the thing, Hogan's Heroes. I used to love coming home from school and watching these blokes at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I used to come home from school at 3 o'clock, run down to the corner store, grab a jelly tip ice cream, and come back and watch Hogan's Heroes every weekday after school without fail. Russell Coit. No, I think we all know about Russell Coit. That was one thing. We see a lot of Russell Coit on TV now, mate, doing these electric vehicle ads and that. So everyone knows who Russell Coit is. Hogan's Heroes. The clip I was going to show you was Schultz walks into the barracks and just as they're going down the secret tunnel. And if you know, it was set in a German POW camp, and they were running a spy organisation out of the POW camp because the Germans were bloody hopeless. Schultz walks in and sees them going down into the tunnel, and he goes, "I see nothing." Like he didn't want to know anything and didn't want to see anything. Schultz, one of the greatest comedies ever. Robert Crane there, guys, the bloke who played Colonel Hogan. Robert Crane was gay in real life and was brutally murdered in real life. Some sort of gay murder, they believe. And I don't think they ever found the person who murdered Robert Crane. John Benner went on to live it to an old man. He was originally from Austria, I think. John Benner, a bloke who played Schultz. Everyone knows who Schultz is. So Hogan's Heroes was in there. One of the best, one of the best. And you go onto a TV channel now. There's that many TV channels here in Australia now. You go onto one of them, and you can guarantee Hogan's Heroes will be on there somewhere. What about this one? You all remember this show? Get Smart with Maxwell Smart, Agent 86, and Barbara Feldon there, who played Agent 99. That was another American thing. They were like in a spy organisation, and they were up against the baddies called Chaos. And the one I was going to show you for this one was where Max goes, "Chief, we need to use the cone of silence." And the chief's just shaking his head because every time they used the cone of silence, which came down over them, they couldn't hear each other. So I was going to show you the cone of silence thing. And once again, you'll be, the cone of silence, Lukey, exactly. And he'd go, "Chief, tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. And the chief would be going, "What's that, Max?" They put the cone of silence down and they could never hear each other. Oh, just bloody Laramie. Yeah, Laramie and all that. And who was the agent? Agent 13 was always hiding in the rubbish bins and shit. That was a good old show back from the 60s. This one went right back to the 60s. Don Adams is dead now. Barbara Feldon, I believe, is about 90 years old now and is still alive. And ever seen Gidgey and Schultz in the same room? Oh, dear. We'll get rid of that one. So Maxwell Smart, get Smart. They actually did a movie as well, which wasn't as funny because they didn't have the laughing over the top. But that was a good old show, one that we all love watching on TV as well. What about this one? Another American one. Can anyone recognize Welcome Back, Kotter? We're going back now. Welcome Back, Kotter. Hogan's Heroes ran from 65 to 71, guys, back in the black and white days. Hogs was on TV between 73 and 84. Now, Get Smart. Get Smart was 65. The year I was born, 1965 to 1970, Get Smart was on TV. And we'll go over here now to Welcome Back, Kotter. Welcome Back, Kotter was from 1975 through to 1979. So for 4 years. Does anyone, John Travolta out there touring? Exactly right. Second from the left, a very, very young John Travolta. And there you go there. And we talked about this the other day. His character name in Welcome Back, Kotter, they were students. The guy in the middle's the teacher, and the rest of the guys were students. And John Travolta played a bloke called Vinnie Barbarino, an Italian guy. And basically it was John Travolta doing a Barbie, was it? A Vinnie Barbarino dance. And you can tell that John Travolta had the moves and that. And that's the one you'll see on Facebook tomorrow. So there you go. A good old Yank comedy. Welcome Back, Kotter, with a very, very young John Travolta. This is the show that boosts John Travolta, and people started noticing how good of an actor he was. He started off in comedy, and as we've seen John Travolta go through and do Grease and bloody play baddies in movies and all that type of stuff. Airline pilot, yeah. And he was a very, very good dancer in the disco era too. Yeah, you ever seen Saturday Night Fever and all that? The guy could dance. He was very, very good. What about this one? This one here, Dr. Dynamite. JJ on the end there. This was a good American comedy, and I've got it written down here. Good Times ran from 1974 to 1979. And the guy on the end there, JJ, he was a bloody funny bugger, and he's still alive. And you wouldn't believe it. Don't tell anyone. Me and Roz watched Bold and the Beautiful. He came on the Bold and the Beautiful there a couple of months ago, and I said to Roz, he looks familiar. And she said, yeah, that's JJ out of the Good Times. He's a comedian. And that's him on the end there. He always referred to himself as Kid Dynamite or Dr. Dynamite. Funny, funny, funny man. Watch the clip tomorrow. I'm spewing I can't show you all this. Instead of trying to explain it, I could have showed you. Dr. Dynamite. Yeah, that's exactly right. JJ. If you haven't seen The Good Times, it was about a black American family, and they were struggling for money, and they were doing it tough, but they had a really tight family, mum and dad and the sister and all that. And JJ was like the diddly donk of the family. He was always doing silly shit. And just the way he used to refer to himself as Kid Dynamite or Dr. Dynamite, very, very funny man. And he made the show. But it was a good watch comedy, that one. It really was. As I said, the American comedy and the British comedy, totally different. But that was a really good show that I used to enjoy. Chrissy Anderson going, what the buck? Bold and the Beautiful. No, you don't want to see me doing it. Buck, get off the couch and go camping. It's all right for you, Mr. Bullet. It's bloody... I got the air conditioner on here, mate. I was sitting in a rooftop tent, 30 degrees. Although at night time, it's not too bad here at the moment. The humidity hasn't kicked in yet. So there you go. The Good Times, another American one there. And this one here. Does anyone remember? Guy, pull out. Who's first one? What's this show with young Arnold? Anyone remember this one? A lot of you older guys. Bold and it's exciting, Brad. It's exciting. Bold and the Beautiful. It's getting really exciting at the moment. Oh, Eric's about to kick the bucket. He's one of the originals from about 35 years ago. Monty Python. No, Phil, that is not Monty Python. Different Strokes. Terry G knows it. Terry's about my age, a little bit younger. Different Strokes with young Arnold, his name was. Basically, Arnold and his brother, Willis, were adopted by a white family. And it was similar to Good Times in a way. He was a very, very famous actor, and he's Gary Coleman, the little fellow who was only about 142 centimeters tall, Gary Coleman. And he had a bit of a sad ending to his thing. He was back in the 70s, he was a big star. And I mean a big star in America. Mike Blakely might back me up on this. Gary Coleman was a very, very good child actor. And after he grew into an adult, no one wanted him. Like once he stopped being a kid, his famous catchphrase was, Willis would say something silly and he'd do this silly look on his face and go, "What you talking about, Willis?" Or "What you talking about, Dad?" That was his famous catchphrase, which was I was going to show you in the thing. So he went on to become a security guard, and apparently he was only about 142 centimeters, and everyone used to recognize him as Arnold out of Different Strokes and want their pictures taken with him. And I think Gary Coleman got the shits with it. And someone wouldn't take no for an answer one day. Some female was grabbing him, wanting to get a photo, and he ended up punching her and got charged with assault. And he had a sad ending to his life. He ended up having a bad fall and died of a brain hemorrhage. When did he die? I've got it written down here somewhere. Born in 1968, and he died in 2010. He had a bad fall and died of a brain hemorrhage, and got charged by the police for assault when he was a security guard. And I think he's like one of these guys who, in the 70s, was a big name, and then he went on to become a Neville nobody. And maybe he didn't adjust. A lot of these actors go like that, guys. They're big names, and then they're nobodies, and they can't handle it. And I think Gary Coleman may have been one of them. But what you talk about, Willis? Timmy Ryan saying that's what his famous catchphrase was. Willis was his brother, and obviously he was adopted by a white family. Wasn't a bad show. I remember I used to watch it all the time, and it used to give everyone a laugh. It's a bit of a feel-good type American comedy. All right, this is one of my favorites, F Troop. These bloody idiots here. This was a great show, guys, F Troop. And I had the video clip. I had it shown. I'll talk about it in a minute. This is one of my favorites. Ran from 1965 to 1967. It was only on TV for 2 years. You'll still see it on TV. It was a very, very popular show. Ken Berry played Captain Wilton Parmenter, Sergeant O'Rourke, and Corporal Agarn. Larry Storch with the white hat on there. Larry Storch died only 2 years ago. He was the last one from this show to pass away. Larry Storch in 2020. The stunning young blonde girl there, who we'll bring up later as one of my childhood crushes. She's one of them there. Melody Patterson. Wrangler Jane, she played in this clip. She was an absolute stunning looking woman, wasn't she? Can you believe when she first started this show, she was only 16 years old. She told the directors she was 18 and they gave her the part. And halfway through the first series, she came clean and said, "I'm only 16," after they'd already been doing clips of her doing big kisses on the lips with the captain, and she was the captain's girlfriend and all that. And she said, "Oh, I'm only 16," but they'd come too far to boot her off, and she ended up going through for the next 2 years. But she was only 16 in that, probably 16 or 17 in that photo. She looked a lot older, I must admit. Wrangler Jane, Melody Patterson, one of the most beautiful women back in those days. And this one here, if you haven't seen the show, they were basically cavalry in a fort. I forget the name of the fort now. Anyway, the Indians that were near them were the Hakawi tribe, all right? And the two idiots at the top there, the sergeant and the corporal, they were running the Sly Grog syndicate with the Indians. So they're supposed to be enemies, but they used to go up and see the Indians, and they were running Sly Grog and all this type of stuff, and just things like the Hakawi tribe. And they said to him, "Why don't you ever attack us at night?" And they said, "Because we're scared of the dark," and all this type of thing. And the clip I show is Agarn actually showing the Indians how to do a war dance because they didn't know how to do a war dance. It was a funny show, guys. It was bloody funny. And the funniest thing was their lookout that was always up the lookout tower was a bloke called Fort Courage. Sorry. Yeah, there you go. Stephen Lou, Fort Courage. That's right. Not the Fakawi tribe. It was the Hakawi tribe, which is based on the same joke. Vanderbilt, he had glasses like the bottoms of Coke bottles, and he was the lookout. He couldn't see past his nose. They used to always put him up the guard tower. Anyway, Dobbs was the bugler, and Dobbs was like Lofty. He couldn't play the bugle. He was a terrible bugler player. So Dobbs would play the last post, and then they try and let the cannon go for the morning reveille or whatever, and shoot the cannon. The cannon would never go off. So Agarn had always kicked the wheel on the cannon to make it go off. The wheel would fall off. The cannon would always blow the leg off the guard tower and knock the guard tower down. And you'd see Vanderbilt doing a parallel out because they'd shot the guard tower down. It was bloody funny. Mr. Bullet, we're going to have to throw a bucket of water on him. Delvine Delaney in a bikini. Mr. Bullet, if we were allowed to play the videos, you would have seen Delvine Delaney in a bikini because Hoag's, one of the clip I was doing was Hoag's walking along the beach, and you always saw Delvine Delaney in the clips. Mr. Bullet, someone throw a bucket of water on him now, please, before he bloody spontaneous combusts or whatever that thing is. Yeah, Dobbs was the bugler. Agarn was the corporal. Sergeant O'Rourke, Captain Parmiter was the captain, and Wrangler Jane, and there was Vanderbilt, and Dobbs was the bugler, and a very, very, very funny show between 1965 and 1967. One of the best. If you haven't seen F Troop, guys, make sure you watch it. It's bloody funny. The Goodies, another pommy one. I always remember watching the Goodies at 6 o'clock at night. There was always, 6:30. It was always Doctor Who at 6. The Goodies that come on at 6:30, and then the national news at 7 on the ABC. So the Goodies, Tim Brooke Taylor, Gardner, I think the middle bloke, and Bill Oddie. The two guys on the left there are still alive. Tim Brooke Taylor on the right there has passed away, guys. I researched that the other day. Graham Garden, I think, is the middle one. The Goodies, bit of a silly show, but it still gave you a laugh. And the clip I was going to show you was about a giant cat going through London like Godzilla, but it was a giant white pussycat, the Goodies. So that was another good funny one from back in the 70s. And the Goodies went from, early 70s. 1970 to 1980, the Goodies were on TV. This one here, Love Thy Neighbour. Now, this one here wouldn't get past first base these days. Very racist show. Eddie was a pommy guy, white pommy guy, and his new neighbour was a black fella from West India. So from the West Indies, Jamaica. So very, very racist show. Eddie used to refer to him as a nignog, which is getting a bit too close to that word, isn't it? What do you want, you bloody nignog? And Sambo was another thing he used to refer to him. And I thought, how did they get away with that in this show? But it always turned it around. The black fella was always calling him snowflake and a white honky. So the racism went both ways. It was a funny show, but I watched a couple of the episodes and it was a bit cringy now that, you know, how touchy we are with racism. This show was right on the border. It wouldn't get past first base now. It was a bit too racist. Even though it went both ways, that's how they got away with it back in those days. Love Thy Neighbour was 1977 or 71, was it? I can't read my own writing. It was back in the 70s anyway. But Eddie always used to come off second best. But they were good mates. They used to take the piss out of each other. What do you want, Sambo? What do you want, your wine honky? But they used to go down the pub and have a beer together and all that. They used to argue over everything. The two wives got on really good. These two argued all the time, but they were still good mates deep down. So, but this show wouldn't get past first base now. There was quite a bit of racism in it. But It wasn't all against black people. The black fella used to give it back to Eddie, and Eddie'd always kind of come off second best. So the clip I was going to show you, the dark guy saying, every time I go into a pub, they won't serve me. They won't serve me because I'm black. And Eddie said, oh, you're full of shit. So Eddie dresses up as a black guy. So he does the blackface skit, which is taboo now, isn't it? And he goes into a pub and basically pretends to be a black man with his West Indian neighbour. And he starts going on about how they're racist because they won't serve him and all that. And basically the punchline was, sir, the only reason we're not serving is we're not open yet. But they were trying to get a message across too. There was like a hidden message in there about how racist England was back in the 70s. Benny Hill got kicked off TV. Benny Hill served in World War II as well as a paratrooper. Benny Hill served in World War II, and he was very sexist, guys. Always a lot of young girls with their boobs out, and Benny Hill patting them on the bum and staring at him, and it was pretty sexually explicit. And Benny Hill wouldn't get past first base these days either. So there you go. Love Thy Neighbour. That was a good watch, but yeah, you won't see that on TV anymore. This one here, guys, was voted best comedy in England. This was voted Fawlty Towers with John Cleese. And the clip I was going to show you, they used to run a restaurant, a seaside restaurant and boarding house type thing. And they had some Germans over on holidays at thing. And he just kept mentioning the war and ended up doing a bloody Adolf Hitler goose step and all this type of stuff. Very, very funny. You'll have to watch that tomorrow on my Facebook page. John Cleese doing a very, very good skit. But Fawlty Towers was voted one of the best comedies in England. Number one, I think. It got the vote as the best comedy in England back in the 70s and 80s. So Fawlty Towers, if you haven't seen it. John Cleese. If blackface is taboo, what are mimes doing? I don't get that one. Jennifer G. Mimes. I'm reading that wrong, am I? Yeah, Jeff's Travels. Who started the bloody war? Yeah. They're going on about, he mentioned something about the war and the Germans are going, can you stop upsetting us? Talking about the war. You started it. Not the war, but you started this argument. And Fawlty goes, no, you started it. Yous are the ones who invaded Poland, and then it goes downhill from there. So, yeah, only 2 seasons. Was it, or Fawlty Towers? Very, very good comedy. I didn't watch all of it. I have seen some of the thing. Very, very good. How good is this guy? Rowan Atkinson again. I told you he's going to appear 3 times tonight. Mr. Bean. Do you know any other guy who can do a movie, basically a full-length movie, and not say a word and make people laugh? That's this guy here. Very, very, very good comedian, Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson. And, so I'm sure we've all seen Mr. Bean. He's a bloody funny bugger. And here he is again. Phil Weber put me onto this. I don't know if I've ever seen this show, The Thin Blue Line. Basically, they're a bunch of pommy cops, and Rowan Atkinson's the inspector. And it's a very, very funny show. It really is. Phil Weber, I'm glad you put me onto that. I don't remember seeing this on TV as a kid. Does anyone out there, Brad Howell and that, do you remember seeing this on TV, mate? This Thin Blue Line? If you haven't seen it, get on YouTube and start watching some of the stuff from this, The Thin Blue Line. Rowan Atkinson once again in it. Snorky said, watch some of it the other day. Yeah, it's very, very funny. That is a very good. The Poms, they just do good comedies, don't they? The Thin Blue Line, if you haven't seen it, get on and watch that. Wow, this one, guys. Remember this one? This is probably one of the oldest ones you'll see tonight. This is my favourite Martian. Going back to the black and white days. Mr. Ed, guys. Mr. Ed, the talking horse. A horse is a horse, of course. And nobody talks to a horse, of course. Unless, of course, the horse is, of course, the famous Mr. Ed. Anyone remember that song? That's why I don't sing normally, guys. Fawlty Towers, The Thin Blue Line. Mr. Bean, 90 to 95. So he was in the early 90s, Mr. Bean. you'll still see a lot on the internet. Thin Blue Line went from 95. So he finished Mr. Bean, and then Rowan Atkinson started the Thin Blue Line from 95 to 96, went for a couple of years. Really good comedy, that one, worth watching. Mr. Ed. Here you go. I told you this one was old, 61 to 66. So this show was around for a few years before I was born. That's how old Mr. Ed is. Anyone remember? No. Brad, they didn't. I Googled this the other day because I knew it had come up in conversation. And they didn't use peanut butter to make his mouth move. So when Mr. Ed talked, he only talked to Wilbur. When other people are around, Wilbur used to tell everyone that Mr. Ed could talk. No one believed him. Mr. Ed would only talk when Wilbur was by himself. Other people would come around, Mr. Ed would just act like a normal horse and make him look like a fool. It was a bloody... Snorky, that's exactly right, mate. I remember black and white TV, absolutely. I remember seeing Sesame Street the first time on a colour TV, and I remember they're going, oh, wow, Grover's blue and Big Bird's yellow and Elmo's red. Like, you didn't know what colour they were when we used to watch them in black and white. And then all of a sudden, colour TV came out in the mid-70s here in Australia. And, like, Sesame Street was just, look at the colour. That's still, Snorky, that is still etched in my brain very, very clearly, mate, is the change to colour TV and just how special that was for a young kid in primary school, seeing things in colour for the first time on TV. That was a big deal, guys. I'm sure some of you other guys out there will remember it as well. Seeing colour TV for the first time, especially when you're used to watching black and white TV. Things like Mr. Ed, the Cisco Kid, and all these other... I Dream of Jeannie came out in black and white when it first started. So Mr. Ed, Brad, apparently they didn't use peanut butter to make his lip move like he was talking. They used to use put nylon thread or something under there, but they trained him that well. Someone was under, I read on Google, someone was under that thing there, and when they trained him, and his real name was Bamboo Harvester. Did anyone know that? That could be a good trivia question. Bamboo Harvester was Mr. Ed's real name. He was Palomino Cross, beautiful horse, Palomino Cross. His owner, used to sit there and tap him on the hoof under there, and they trained him that when they tap him on the hoof, he moved his mouth, and they reckon he got that really well trained by the end of the show, which ran from, when did I say that ran? 61 to 66. So for 5 years, he got that well trained. He basically knew when to move his mouth. Bamboo Harvester was Mr. Ed's real name. Auntie Jack was the first colour show in Auntie Jack. I rip your bloody arms off. Yeah, Auntie Jack, first colour in Australia. There you go. So there you go, Mr. Ed. Apparently they started using nylon fishing line or something. I don't know how. They obviously didn't put it through and go like that. And someone used to sit there and tap him on the hoof. They used to teach him when someone was tapping him on the hoof under the door there, he'd move his mouth. And then they reckon he got that well trained, he knew when to move his mouth. I don't know how, but there you go. Bamboo Harvester was Mr. Ed, guys. And apparently Wilbur, after the show finished, Mr. Ed was out on a ranch at his owner's ranch or whatever, and Wilbur, whoever played Wilbur, used to go and visit him. Apparently they had a lot of chemistry on. They were, for a horse and a thing, they were very, very close. Wilbur used to go after the show finished, still go out and ride him and see him all the time, apparently, on the ranch. Well, it's a fantastic story. Debbie, when TV first started, we all could see was a test pattern, and I hoped it got better than that. Exactly right. There, the old ABC test pattern. That looks good on a T-shirt, I reckon, that ABC test pattern. So there you go, Mr. Ed. Great. It's just a good, fun show. With no swearing, no controversy. It was just a good, fun show. And I'll talk about it at the end about there's just nothing on TV anymore that comes near any of these shows that we're talking about. There's no decent shows like this. Good fun shows that kids would love watching. Kids would, when we were young, Snorky was saying, we used to love watching shows like this. The kids have got nothing now to watch, all these bloody ridiculous cartoons that have got violence in them and all that. What happened to TV mobs making good, fun, clean shows like these were? Here's another one. My Favourite Martian. What a great storyline. Bill Bixby, who went on to play the Incredible Hulk. Remember the show The Incredible Hulk? With Lou Ferrigno played the Hulk and Bill Bixby played the guy before he turned into the Hulk. Bill Bixby and Ray Walton, I think it was, who played the Martian. Another good one that started in black and white days. My Favourite Martian, 63 to 66, not quite as old as Uncle Ed, Mr. Uncle Ed. Uncle Martin, he used to call him. Bill Bixby used to call him Uncle Martin. He was a Martian. His spaceship crashed, guys, crashed on Earth. And it was just a good, fun, clean show back in the 60s. It bloody was. My Favourite Martian. If you haven't seen it, watch it. There you go. There you can get a 15-disc set of it. So it ran for 6 years or whatever. My Favourite Martian. The Banana Splits, that's where we got Snorky's name from. Snorky was one of the Banana Splits, Jennifer. That's where we got Tofty named Rob after Snorky off the Banana Splits. Vicar of Dibley, must admit, never got really into this show. I saw a few episodes, another British comedy. Dawn French, her real name, she's a funny bugger. The Vicar of Dibley, never really got into that show, but a lot of people were talking about it. Snorky used to love watching the Brady Bunch and had a crush on Marsha. Stand by, Snork. Stand by for that one. You're not Robinson Crusoe, mate. You're not the only one. Stand by for crushes, childhood crushes, and photos at the end of this, mate. They're coming up. And I think Marsha Brady might make an appearance because I had a bit of a crush on her too. Here's another good one, a Yank one. How good was this show, guys? Happy Days. And as I said, I had all the clips up there to show you. This would have gone for 18 hours if I did the clips, because it's going to be long enough now. Been on for, I haven't, have I? An hour 37. And this would have gone 8 hours if I played the clips. Happy Days with the Fonz, Richie Cunningham. What a great show. And they are all alive. I Googled them. The Fonz are still alive. The only ones who passed away was Erin Moran, who played Joni. Joni passed away, I think, from cancer, something like that. And Tom Bosley, who played Mr. Mr. Cunningham. Tom Bosley's passed away now. The rest of them, Anson Williams, who played Potsy, Donnie Most, who played Ralph Malph, Richie Cunningham. What? Richie Cunningham. Oh, he's a bloody world-class producer now. I think of his name. And obviously bloody the Fonz, Henry Winkler, they're all still alive. Ron Howard. Brad, thanks, mate. It was on the tip of my tongue. Ron Howard, who went on, he's a wonderful producer now. So there you go, Happy Days. Really, really good. And the clip I was going to show you from Happy Days had a racial theme to it too. Fonzie and Alpha, the guy from the cafe, go into a diner in Southern America, and they had a dark guy with them, and it had a whites only sign up there. And basically, the Fonz orders a coffee, and they say we can't serve you, basically because you got a black guy with you. And you know what the Fonz is like. The Fonz always wins and gets his way. They end up sitting there having a coffee, and some rednecks threaten the Fonz, and it's worth watching. But there was some good racial undertones there about anti-racism on Happy Days. Just a good, clean, fun show, that one. Couple of spin-offs of Happy Days as well. Mork and Mindy, and also Laverne and Shirley, guys. Remember they were spin-offs of Happy Days. You'll still see Happy Days on TV to this day on one of the channels. Laverne and Shirley, yeah. Ron Howard, great actors, weren't they? The whole lot. There was a lot of chemistry there. Made me wish I kind of was like a teenager back in the 50s with those really good cars and going to a diner for dinner and lunch. Good days, weren't they? They They really were. Here's one of the best, guys. This is where the Yanks come back to the pack or catch up with the pack. I reckon the Poms are ahead, but this show here, this is one of the best ever. And it was a comedy, but it also could be serious at times. MASH, Mobile Army Surgical Hospital, if you don't know what MASH. It was a TV show based around the Korean War, which ran from 1950 to 1953. MASH ran, guys. Happy Days went from 74 to 84, if you're wondering. And MASH went from 72 to 83. So for 11 years. The Korean War only went for 3 years, 50 to 53. MASH went for 11 years. What a wonderful cast of characters. It really was. There were some really good actors in there. Alan Alda as Hawkeye, BJ, Loretta Swit as Hot Lips Houlihan, bloody Colonel Potter there. I forget his Harry Morgan. You know, Klinger, Jamie Farr, who played Klinger, who was always running around in a dress and that. The Padre, one of the best shows ever to appear on TV, comedy or not, guys. One of the best shows ever on television. It is thing. And I'll tell you now, if you ever watched the whole lot of MASH over all the years, and then when their final episode come at the end of the war, when they all say goodbye to each other, it's called Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen. Tell you what, it's a tearjerker. Brad Howell filmed in the hills of Los Angeles. Brad's just been over to America, and you probably read up on that or on one of the tours or something, Brad. They probably mentioned that. Filmed in the hills of Los Angeles. Well, there you go. I didn't know that, mate. An all-star cast, absolutely. Freddie Boots. Hey, Danny, how are you, mate? Going to have Freddie Boots on one night for a live feed. Danny, guys, serious matter now. We're going to talk about motor neurone disease. Danny's back home now. Danny lost his wife from motor neurone disease, and we're going to have a serious chat one night about it with Freddie Boots. So, Danny, yes, we're going to do that before the end of the year, mate. My uncle was the first to have colour TV. He was Irish and put colour cellophane paper on the TV screen. So it would have gone from black and white to blue or red. Oh, dear, oh, dear. I thought that was going to be something serious in there for a minute. And as most of these shows, MASH is one show that in 30 years' time, when we're all dead, guys, this will still be on TV. It never, ever gets old. It is one of the best shows to ever graced television. I'll tell you now, it is bloody very good. A very good show. And that guy who plays Hawkeye, Alan Alda, fantastic actor. Can do comedy, but he did some serious. This show went from comedy to serious and did it very, very well. They could change from comedy to serious in the blink of an eye. And I told you the other night about Hawkeye seeing a psych, and basically though he's going on about how this lady strangled the chicken on the bus, this Korean lady, because the North Korean soldiers were around and they didn't want to be heard, and they were hiding in this bus in the bush, and this chicken was going buck, 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 and the lady strangled the chicken so that the North Korean soldiers wouldn't hear. At the end, Hawkeye breaks down. It wasn't a chicken. She strangled her own baby. That's what I mean. It went from, sometimes they got very, very serious, and that was a real sad one. Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. Remember the first Colonel? When Colonel Blake was flying back to America on R&R and his plane got shot down or crashed in the ocean and died. That was sad, Jeff. The original Colonel that used to have all the fishing hooks and fishing flies and that in his hat. Yeah, I used to love how they come in and go, sign this, sir, and he'd sign it, and they'd walk out and he'd go, hang on, what did I just sign? He'd just sign anything. And then Colonel Potter took over from Colonel Blake. Both very, very good actors, but Harry Morgan, I think, was Colonel Potter. Fantastic actor as well. One of the best shows on TV. A classic. As a YouTube user, a classic. Absolutely it is, mate. Hey, YouTube user, if you know YouTube at all or anyone who works for YouTube, Tell them they're a bunch of assholes. I was going to show some clips tonight, and they bloody copyrighted me in the 4th clip, was it? When I was doing Blackadder. Bloody hell. Sport the night, but it's probably a good thing, or this would have gone till 2 o'clock in the morning. Unbelievable. So what's the next show we got on here, guys? This one here, Phil Weber put me onto it. I'm sure it was Phil Weber, said mind your language. If you have not seen this show, you've got to watch it. This Mind Your Language, guys, it went from, it's an old one. I thought 1977 to 1979. And basically, it's a teacher at the front there in the brown, the two the male and female, teaching a bunch of immigrants to England how to speak English at nighttime classes. And there's a Spanish guy, an Italian guy, there's an Asian lady, there's a Muslim, there's a bloke from India. Funny stuff. Type into YouTube, mind your language. I'm going to put one up tomorrow. And basically he goes grocery shopping and he brings in, and what is this and what is that? Some of these actors here that play the immigrants are bloody funny. And the Asian girl, the female teacher, tries to get her to roll her. They can't say their R's. G'day, Rafa. And she tries to say, around the rugged rock, the red rooster ran, or something like, trying to get this Asian, trying to say this rhyme with all R's. Anyway, she tries to say it, and I had tears coming down my cheeks. It is funny. You'll see it on Facebook tomorrow. That is a bloody good show. Phil Weber, thanks for putting me onto that one. I don't remember seeing it. Does anyone remember this one, Mind Your Language? It's about the English teacher teaching all these immigrants how to teaching them English, and they get muddled up with their words, and you know how confusing the English language is, and it's bloody well done. Whoever was the writer, Mr. Bullitt said the original movie was good. Okay, so there must have been a movie, Mind Your Language movie, and then there was a comedy thing that come after it. Yeah, well, there you go. What do we got now? I think we're just about getting Mork and Mindy. There you go. Anyone remember this? As I said, it's a spin-off for Happy Days. Dawn Wells, I think was her name. And we all know who he is. Anyone recognise that guy? One of the best comedians ever, who took his own life a couple of years ago, guys. Very, very sad. Very, very sad. Nanu. Exactly right, Snork. And Shazbat was another one. He said, Shazbat. Nanu. He said, Nanu. He was an alien. And so, like my favourite Martian, he was an alien. Landed on me. Ended up with her somehow. It was a bloody good, funny show. Robin Williams, guys, one of the best comedians ever. And as we know, he took his own life. He was suffering with depression behind the scenes. One of the smartest comedians. Have you seen him in Good Morning Vietnam and how good he was there? A lot of that wasn't scripted. He was that good. The writers, he just went and they just sat back and let him go. There was no script for him to read. They just said, mate, go in and do your thing. And he was hilarious in Good Morning Vietnam. You've got to see that movie. And a lot of that was not scripted. They just let him go and do his thing. He was so quick-witted, Robin Williams, but had some demons and took his own life. He was a funny man, absolutely he was. And he was funny in Mork and Mindy. This is in his early days. This is where people probably started recognising Robin Williams and going, this bloke is very, very smart and clever and very funny. Here we go. Chrissy Krug's got something there. I was lucky enough to see Robin Williams live in comedy. Wow. When he came to Melbourne many years ago. So good. Mate, that must have been special, Chrissy. I don't know many people that have ever said that they've seen Robin Williams live. Wowee. And we've seen him in movies playing serious 30-second photo. Remember he was that stalker that in that the people put their films in. Good Will Hunting with Matt Damon. Played a serious part there. Fantastic. And absolutely Kane Higgins. probably one of his most famous things was Mrs. Doubtfire. We've all seen that. What a great movie, a great funny movie. And that just shows the talent of the guy. And I'm sure a lot of the stuff in Mrs. Doubtfire was not scripted either. They probably just let Robin Williams do his thing. And a funny, funny man. Chrissy Krug saw him live. Mate, that must have been special, I'll tell you now, because he's one of the best. He's one of the best ever. Best voice actor too. Yeah, he did a lot of voiceovers, Robin Williams. I kind of agree here, Terry. Best show, Good Morning Vietnam. He was Adrian Cronau or something was his thing. He was a radio presenter in Vietnam to boost the morale of the troops in Vietnam. And his thing was, Good Morning Vietnam. And he'd just go and just crack the troops up. The troops loved him over there in the movie. Absolutely fantastic. I haven't seen this one, Jeff. He was very good in What Dreams May Come. Haven't seen that one, mate, from memory. There you go. I'm probably sure there's a lot of and The Robot Who Wanted to Be Human. There's a few shows here that he's done that I haven't even heard of. So there you go. Robin Williams, one of the best guys, one of the best. We all know how good he was. We've all seen Mrs. Doubtfire, probably seen Good Morning Vietnam. If you're old like me, you remember Mork and Mindy, where they probably kicked his acting career off. It was a bit silly, but he did some stuff in there that was very, very good. Well, there you go. I had a cocaine addiction too, apparently, Buck, which problems didn't help his mental health. A lot of these big names seem to have cocaine problems, mate, don't they? They can't handle the fame and fortune, a lot of these people in Hollywood. A lot of them go off the rails, which is, and Robin Williams did. A lot of these singers, Chester out of Lincoln Park took his own life, and bloody Chris Cornell. They just can't seem to handle the fame and fortune, which is very... Patch Adams. Yes. Well, I moved just as I was about to click that. Patch Adams was another one where he played a doctor at a hospital and making the kids laugh. One of the best movies. Yes, Patch Adams. What a fantastic movie, guys. He plays a doctor in a children's ward. Kids dying of cancer and all that. And he comes in with red noses and makes the kids laugh. And the hierarchy of the hospital were frowning down upon him because of the way, but it was his way of treating the kids. And it was very, very positive. Yeah. Patch Adams. If you haven't seen that movie, guys, I was going to go to the video store and get it out. Buck, you're showing it. There is no such thing as a video store. Remember, you could go down to the video store, down to Videos Easy or whatever, and grab a DVD or a video out and bring it home and watch it. Bloody hell, now you got to subscribe and spend $1 million to friggin' watch movies now and download them. It was easier just to go to Blockbuster. There you go, the Oliver family. Blockbuster Video or Video Easy, and you go through and there they are. I haven't seen that one. I'm going to watch that. Oh, good old days. Things were better in the old days, weren't they? Like going and hiring out a video and all that. I know it's a bit easier now. You sit back and bloody download shit, but I don't know. I prefer the old days. VHS, and no, I was a VHS man out there touring. Beta. Never had a beta machine. It was always VHS. VHS video. And then CDs came in, or DVDs, and now you got to bloody download everything. CDs and DVDs are almost a thing of the past now, aren't they? Good Will Hunting was great. Yeah, I mentioned that. Dicko, Good Will Hunting with, he was good. We've talked a lot about Robin Williams, and that's because he's so bloody good. What's that? Oh, I've got to go back there. Sorry, we were talking about the Stooges. Dicko's Death. I'll hide that one. Remember this show? Silly show, but it was good for a laugh. Alf, he used to love. He was another alien. All these shows about aliens coming down. Alf coming down out of space in his spaceship. He was an alien, and he ended up with his family, and his favourite snack was cats. He liked eating cats. Anyway, one of them was where he had a box of cats for dinner, and they were too cute, and he couldn't eat them. That was the clip I was going to show you. But that wasn't a bad... When did Alf run? 1986 to 2004, Alf. So it was on bloody It was on TV for a while, Alf. Not a bad show. I know a lot of people, when I got the Rafa tattoo on my arm, people were sending me pictures of Alf and saying that's, if the tattooists get it right, it might end up with this. And they were sending me pictures of Alf. So there, Mike Blakely was on there. 1 hour photo was Mike, good movie. Robin Williams plays a psychopath in that one, like a murderer, and that was if you haven't seen that one, she's a bit of a freaky movie, guys. He plays a nutter. He's like a chemist. You know when you used to go to the chemist shop or the pharmacy, whatever you call it in America, the drugstore, and get your film development. Back again when you used to get your camera film developed, and then you go back an hour later and you look at your photos, and out of 24 photos, about 18 of them would be blurry. And then at least now with a bloody iPhone, you take a shit photo, you can delete it, but not with the old cameras. You used to have to turn up at the pharmacy, the drugstore, whatever you want to call it, and wait for your photos to get developed and then go through them and go, oh, they're all shit. I'm a photographer's arsehole. But 1 hour photo with Robin Williams. He plays a baddie in that one, and he plays a very, very good part. Thanks, Mike, for that. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of, mate. Alf wasn't a bad show. I didn't mind that. Here you go. This is the oldest one. I was trying to think what the oldest one was tonight. It's these guys, the Three Stooges. If you had dinner, living or dead, with someone, who would it be? Three Stooges every day of the week. These guys were geniuses, guys. Bloody slapstick comedy. They're ahead of their time, and they still make me laugh to this day. Me and my mate, John Papadopoulos, John P., we still send stuff on Messenger to each other, Three Stooges. And we love the ones where all the violence, you know, the face slaps and the bloody eye gouges and all that. Curly, Moe, and Larry. If you didn't know, Jewish family, Moe and Curly were brothers. Moe Horwitz, I think, was their real name. They went under Moe Howard, and Curly's real name was Jerome Horwitz. They were a Jewish family, and their other brother was a guy called Shemp. That wasn't his real name. Forget Shemp's real name now. When Curly passed away, Shemp came in, and he was like the fourth stooge, basically. Larry wasn't one of the brothers. Larry Fine, very, very good. Very funny. And probably don't see a lot of them on TV anymore because it's too violent. It encourages kids to eye gouge each other and hit each other over the head with hammers. And, you know, I'm sure you've all seen the Three Stooges at some stage, guys. They're bloody funny, and they're my favourites. I still love them to this day. When were they around? 1922 to 1970. Moe passed away in 1971. He was the last one to pass away. They were around in the 30s and the 40s, guys, during, like, before World War II and during World War II. They were the big boys on the block back then, the Three Stooges. And if you're lucky enough, you'll see them on TV to this day on the This show was a bloody beauty. Married with Children with Al Bundy. Oh, you should have seen the clip I was going to show you tonight, guys, was Al Bundy's best insults. And it's mostly, he's a shoe salesman, and he used to get all these fat women coming in, and their feet couldn't fit into the shoes, and they used to give him a gobful because, and he'd always end up making fat jokes about them. Funny show, Married with Children. The blonde girl there, Christina Applegate, who was a bit of a bloody heartthrob back in the 90s on this show. She's got Parkinson's disease or something now. Katie Segal, a very good actress. Ed O'Neill, or not Ed O'Neill, I forget his real name now, but he was on that show with the Colombian girl, and I don't know where he ever ended up. The son, Bud Bundy, but that was a funny show, guys. It was just bloody good. And once again, don't know if it'd get off the ground these days. It was only when did that come on? Married with Children, 87 to 97. So yeah, I don't know. They used to take the piss out of fat people and stuff like that. Don't know if that'd get off the ground these days, old Al Bundy, but that was a funny show. I used to love watching it. One of my favourites. I think that's it for that one, guys. That is it. So I'm going to remove that one there. So Jerry Lewis was very good too. You seen the one of Jerry Lewis boxing and doing his funny dance in the boxing ring? He was funny too. As I said, guys, there's a lot of comedies out there that I didn't mention tonight. I can't mention them all. I've been on for 2 hours now. Can you imagine how long this would have gone if I was playing the clips? It would have gone even longer. Katie Segal was on Sons of Anarchy too as a serious actress. Very good actress too. Benny Hill was funny. Dad used to love Benny Hill. Used to pat the little fella on the head all the time. Benny Hill show was cancelled due to political correctness. Went mad and went from penthouse to shithouse overnight. Yes, Benny Hill was very funny, but it was the days where, like the Paul Hogan show, Hogs, walking along the beach, and there was always chicks with big boobs in bikinis, and Hogs would trip over someone on the beach because he was checking some Sheila's big bazonkas out. People frown on that now, and all the bloody do-gooders now. Oh, you're sexualizing females and all this. Have a look on Instagram now. They're doing it themselves. It ain't the blokes doing it. Have a look at the women on Instagram and all that now. And they're over-sexualizing themselves. The blokes don't have to do it. Nikki Slade, I had something coming up special for you, Nikki, if you want to hang around. I know it's getting late there. It's Saturday night. Nikki, I've got a special thing for you, and it's coming up very soon. Charlie Chapman, never got into him. That was a bit before my time, mate. But anyway, we can talk about comedy, and I've missed a lot of ones. There's a lot of good ones that I haven't mentioned tonight. Let's get on to heartthrobs. Some of the heartthrobs that I remember when I was a young fella growing up, you'd see a beautiful-looking girl on TV, and you'd fall in love with them as a young bloke. I'm going to go through my favourites. I'm on slide 2. I'm going to start with a couple of my favourite ones. This one here, if this woman doesn't get your blood going, guys, nothing will. Julie Newmar. The original Catwoman in Batman. Now, that is a fine specimen of a woman. She is perfect, guys. Julie Newmar, the original Catwoman in the Batman series back in the 1960s with Adam West and Burt Ward. Julie Newmar was the original Catwoman. There's been a lot of good ones since. Halle Berry, Lee Merriweather, Eartha Kitt, I think. They've had some good Catwomen. She's the best. She was the first one and the best one, I think. She was absolutely a stunning-looking woman. Lee Merriweather, I was going to say. Julie Newmar, her real name is. She's about 90, guys. She's still alive to this day, and she's the original Catwoman from the Batman. We all saw Batman and Robin after school back in the 60s and the 70s. Julie Newmar, Catwoman. Rrr. Here's the other one. She's my favourite. Barbara Eden, I Dream of Jeannie. Hey, everyone used to love Jeannie. What a beautiful... And you know what I'm going to say here too? A lot of these women are from the old days, guys. They are... Look at them. No fake lips. No fake bloody eyelashes. No fake boobs and asses and all that. They're just naturally beautiful women back in those days. And they didn't overly sexualise them. I know Jeannie... Barbara Eden, she was on the NBS or CBS or whatever network took on I Dream of Jeannie. What was the body part? Here you go. There was a certain body part. How do I get rid of this? That they were not allowed to show of Jeannie's, besides the obvious boobs and whatever, guys. There was a body part that they could not show of hers. Not over the top skinny. No tattoos. Yeah, you didn't see any of them with tattoos back in those days as well, and they weren't overly slutty, excuse me, expression there. The belly button, Tim Ryan, yeah. There you go. You ever see I Dream of Jeannie? That she was not allowed to show her belly button. Apparently that was taboo on TV, guys. Even though you could see a bit of her cleavage in that. Her showing a female's belly button back in those days was taboo. Absolutely taboo. And that's why her pants are up so high there. So that thing. Barbara Eden, I Dream of Jeannie. That's what she's famous for. She's still alive. She's about 90 now. She's had a lot of plastic surgery in the last photo I saw of her. And no, shoulders. Yeah, but what a great show that one with Larry Hagman, who went on to play J.R. Ewing in Dallas and, all that type of stuff. She's been in a movie with Elvis Presley, guys, Barbara Eden. And, yeah, one of the best, one of the most beautiful women of that era, I think. Here's another one from the same era, Bewitched. Elizabeth Montgomery, her real name was, or Samantha, out of Bewitched, not Nicole Kidman, who was in the current day type Bewitched movie. Elizabeth Montgomery, who's passed away now. Another bloody beautiful looking woman from the Bewitched series. And there was two Darrens, wasn't there? There was Dick York and Dick Sargent. There was two guys that played that. And I think Dick Sargent was gay. And back then it just didn't go down real well. But one of her actor, the male actors was a gay man, the same as Robert Crane off Hogan's Heroes. Who's the next one I've got coming up? Here it is. Come on, fellas. The age-old thing, Ginger or Mary Ann. Come on, lads. If your missus isn't sitting beside you to give you a backhander, Ginger or Mary Ann. Who was your favourite? I'm going with Mary Ann. She was my favourite. The littler one there. They weren't bad sorts back in those days, were they? Speaking of belly, well, how come Gilligan's Island was back in the 60s and they're showing their belly buttons there? Jeannie wasn't allowed to when she did I Dream of Jeannie. So there you go. Dawn Wells and Tina Louise, I think Ginger's name. Dawn Wells died of COVID, guys, a couple of years ago. And I think Tina Louise is still alive, the one that played Ginger. Dicko's a ginger girl. He likes the gingers. There you go. Matty Laxo, he prefers Gilligan. If any, typical Laxo, he's got two beautiful women there, and he's gone in the middle, straight down the middle. He's gone with Gilligan. Dead set. Streety reckons Mary Ann. Yeah, I'm a Mary Ann man. She was a bloody Dawn Wells was a beautiful looking woman, wasn't she? So she's another teenage crush of mine, guys. What? No blondes? No, they're the dumb ones. Kane Higgins is going with Mary Ann too. Kane, you're too young for this stuff. You should be bloody blocking your ears and your eyes. Who's the next one? The next teenage heartthrob I'm going to put up? Oh, Daisy Duke, guys. Come on. You all know. You all watch the Dukes of Hazzard. And I'll tell you who put me onto this one was Phil Taylor. If you're watching, Phil Taylor said, "But don't forget about Daisy Duke. She had those pegs. She had a great body on her, didn't she? She had those legs insured for $1 million back in the 70s during the Dukes of Hazzard. She, Catherine Back, I think her name was, she had her legs insured for $1 million because she had a great set of sticks on her. And she had legs on her like a trip to Darwin. Have a look at it. That was pretty raunchy for the 70s, guys, those little shorts. That was quite raunchy for back in those days. But once again, nothing fake, no bloody tattoos, no, you know what I mean? They were just classy, like just beautiful looking women, weren't they? Who's the next one coming up? I'm just gonna remove this, guys. I just got to work out where I'm up to. Oh no, here we go. It's real right. The next one. Who's that? Can anyone tell me what show she was off? First one, come on, nose prize here. Delvine Delaney. We've talked about Delvine Delaney, Craig. Absolutely, she was a stunner. Delvine Delaney, who was married to Strop in real life. Wear hose shorts in the centre. What show is she off, guys? Does anyone know her name? Ray Newman's got a Larry coffee mug from the Three Stooges. Good stuff. Alan Power's got it. Partridge Family. She was on the Partridge Family, guys, and her real name is Susan Day, D-E-Y. She was a beautiful-looking girl in a younger day. I had a bit of a crush on her when the Partridge Family was on TV back in the 60s and 70s. Susan Day. And she went on to be a very good actress in a show in the 80s or the 90s called LA Law. Went on to become an actress in that. She's retired now. She's in her 60s now in real life. Susan Day. And did she play Laurie or something in the Partridge Family? What a beautiful looking young woman she is there. And this one's for you, Snorky. Marsha Brady. Maureen McCormick, her real name is. That's one's for Snorky. Apparently Snorky used to bloody get all hot and flustered looking at Marsha Brady. Marsha. This is Snorky's favourite. She was a bloody good-looking young girl too there back in the 60s, wasn't she? Marsha Brady. There was something about that era and the women. I don't know. They were just naturally beautiful-looking girls, weren't they? Davy Jones out of the Monkees. Well, speaking of Davy Jones, Freddie, if you ever saw the, not so much the Partridge Family, the Brady Bunch, Davy Jones was a guest appearance on the Brady Bunch. And Marsha, when he turned up at the house, Marsha had a crush on Davy Jones, who was the lead singer of the Monkees. And Marsha got all bloody like schoolgirl thing when Davy Jones turned up at the house. Yeah, so that one's for you, Snork. Righto. Now, can anyone, I'll be surprised if anyone gets this. What show was she on, everyone? I had a crush on this girl back in the 60s and the early 70s. I had a big crush on this girl. She was a pom, but was in an Australian show. Does anyone know who she is and what show she was from? I didn't make it too obvious. Pete Scale model, I reckon's before his time. This show's from the 60s, guys. It was an Aussie show. Liz Goddard, yes. Liz Goddard was her real name. And she was from Skippy the Bush Kangaroo. She was from Skippy, guys, and she played Clancy in Skippy, remember? A blonde British girl that came out, and she was on the show Skippy the Bush Kangaroo. There you go. Liz Goddard, yeah. Beautiful looking young girl back in the day, wasn't she? I had a crush on her. And I used to have a Skippy plate, and Mum threw it out recently. It was over 50 years old, that Skippy plate. It had Sonny and Skippy on there. It was just white. It was a melamine plate, and Mum threw the bloody thing out. Retirement village down the street from me. Chrissy Krug, who is? Clancy or Skippy. Yeah, Brad Howe got it. Well done, Brad. Chris Krug said someone's in a retirement village down the street from me. Who is that, Chrissy? I'll wait for you to put your Dicko reckons he had a crush on Clancy as well, out of Skippy. She was a good-looking girl, wasn't she? She really was. Beautiful looking. Oh, now, I'll be surprised if does anyone remember this one? I had to dig back into the memory banks for this. I had an absolute crush. This goes to show how boys think. I must have been 5 or 6 years old when I had a crush on this girl. That's how old this show is. Does anyone remember this show? And I'm talking about the girl on the left. Skippy was dinner for a lot of people, Mike, yeah, and still is. Skippy the Bush Kangaroo. Mike, have you seen that? An old 1960 show. Skippy was unbelievable. He could fly helicopters. He could drive cars. He used to save people from burning wrecks. He was an amazing kangaroo, old Skippy. Could do everything. Skippy the Bush Kangaroo. Type that in, Mike, over there on YouTube. Skippy the Bush Kangaroo. And it was a good old show back in the 60s, early 70s here in Australia. It was bloody very well done. Freddie Fredericks has almost got it. It was something Island. The Magic Circle. It was the Magic something. It was 2 different names for it, Snork. No, it wasn't Treasure Island. Adventure Island, guys. It was a show called Adventure Island. And I think the people that used to write this show were all on, it was back in the 60s. I think they were all on, what's the LSD? It was a weird show, but the girl on the left there, her name is Elizabeth Harris, and she was a gorgeous looking woman. The one in the middle's not too bad either. She ended up marrying, guys, a bloke called Leonard Teal, who was a well-known Australian actor on old 60s show and early 70s, Homicide. Leonard Teal, who passed away in 1994. She married Leonard Teal, and her name was Liz Harris, and she was a bloody, that scary clown show. Yes, it is. That's John Michael Housen. If you remember him, he was a bit of a weirdo. John Michael Housen in the clown outfit, and her name is Liz Harris. I remember as a real young boy, like looking at TV and going, oh my God, she's pretty. And she is. She's a bloody beautiful woman. She's probably about 90 now. That's an old show, guys, back in the mid to late 60s. Adventure Island, not Fantasy Island with Chungo on that. That one was called Adventure Island. I'm surprised some of you remembered it. Righto. We all know these two. Don't tell me, guys, that you didn't have the hots for the girls out of ABBA back in the 70s. How good. They were stunners back in their day, weren't they? Especially Agnetha, the blonde one. Who wanted the blonde one before? There she is. Probably one of the hottest blondes getting around in the 70s that all boys used to bloody have the hots for. The girls out of ABBA. Weren't bad sorts, were they? Now, listen. The girls are probably, this one, Nikki Slade. I hope Nikki's still here because I said I was going to put some stuff on for the girls too. It's not just all beautiful looking women that I'm putting up. This one here, ladies, get yourselves ready. This one's for you. The next few, some heartthrobs from back in the day for the girls that used to whip the girls into a frenzy. Nikki Slade. Jace, if you're around, get the bucket of bloody cold water ready. Brad Howell, Mary, get the bucket of water ready for her. This one coming up, the girls are going to go crazy. Here we go. It's the Hoff. Come on, girls, you know. You all love the Hoff. Have a look. He's got the rug going there. The Hoff in his underpants, everyone. Mary Howell will be going mad about now. I don't know about Roz. I don't think Roz was a Hoff fan. Secretly, she might be. Were you into the Hoff, Roz? She's not answering. The Hoff. Come on, girls. You know. Face palm. The Hoff. And the next one, the girls loved the rugs back in the days, guys. Back in the 70s, having a big hairy chest. That was the go. The girls used to go into a frenzy over it. The next bloke, he had the best rug going. There he is. Tom Selleck. Tom Selleck off Magnum PI. The girls used to love him. Have a look at the hairy chest. It's gone out of fashion now. Blokes get their chests waxed. I reckon that's a sign of a man, is to have a good hairy chest. And you probably, if you, me mate, John Papadopoulos, he looks just like that on the back as well. Pap, if you're watching, he's got the Greek rug going, front and back, my old mate, and on the shoulders. Tom Selleck, guys. How about that one? And here's another one for the girls. David Cassidy. I said to Roz, who was your childhood crush? And she said, I think David Cassidy out of the Partridge Family. So we had Susan Day out of the Partridge Family. He's David Cassidy. Wasn't a bad looking rooster back in his day, was he? The girls loved him and was apparently a good musician. And his brother was Sean Cassidy. Does anyone remember the song? Come on, everybody, get down, get with it. Come on, everybody, get down. That's rock and roll. That was his brother, Sean Cassidy. So that's David Cassidy out of the Partridge Family there. So excuse my singing. That's why I don't sing. Now, this bloke here, you got to admit, even the blokes, Elvis was a good-looking rooster. Have a look at him. I know, we all know he got fat and bloody whatever. Elvis in the 50s and the 60s, he was a good-looking rooster. I wouldn't mind looking like him, but have you ever seen him with his shirt off in some of the movies, the Hawaii one and that? Did not have an ounce of muscle on him. He had absolutely no muscle definition, Elvis, with his shirt. He wasn't fat or anything in his younger day, but no muscle definition. even when he was in the army. But he was a good-looking rooster. You got to admit, guys, the king, yeah. Oh, Elvis the pelvis, he was a good-looking rooster. And I'll tell you what, if you're you can understand why the females went absolutely bonkers over Elvis in his younger day. He was a good-looking lad, wasn't he? Like, you think if a woman said, oh, handsome man, who's the most handsome man? You've got to put Elvis up at number one, haven't you? I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind looking like that. Mind you, I'm not too bad. Have a look at me now. Bit of similarity there. What do you reckon? Mark and Elvis. No, he's a good-looking rooster, old Elvis. There's no doubt about it. Oh, here's one for the boys and the girls. Now, come on. Olivia Newton-John in her black slinky get-up gear out of Greece, and John Travolta for the girls. How good was that? Oh, Olivia, she was a good sort. Good Aussie girl too, back in the day. And John Travolta. I wouldn't put John Travolta in the same category as Elvis, looks-wise, but I'm a bloke. Maybe the girls will... James Dean was another... Yeah, James Dean was a good-looking rooster as well. He was up there in the Elvis category. But Olivia in that black outfit at Greece, I'll tell you what, a lot of young men discovered themselves watching that movie, I think. I won't go any further there. Olivia, yeah. Oh, my God, Olivia, damn, Mr. Pete Scale modeler. Absolutely. She was a good sort, Olivia, and only died recently. What a great Australian she was too. She did Australia proud. She really did. Going to remove that. I've got a couple more. There was a couple I forgot about after I'd done that one. Here's another one that goes back. This movie was back in the 40s. As a young boy, I was in love with this girl, and she's dead now. Judy Garland, guys, in The Wizard of Oz. When I was a young boy and I first watched this movie, I was in love with Judy Garland. She was a beautiful-looking girl. Oh, she's only 16 or something in that photo. What a beautiful-looking girl she was. Judy Garland. She was an attractive woman, and went on, and her daughter is Liza Minnelli, if you didn't know that. Judy Garland, that was one of my childhood crushes. Judy Garland out of The Wizard of Oz. We're going back now, guys, aren't we? What a great movie, too, The Wizard of Oz. One of the best movies ever. It was a good movie. Great fantasy movie. Whoever thought that movie up must have had a fantastic imagination. And this one here, we've already spoken about her. Melody Patterson, Wrangler Jane out of F Troop, guys. She's up there with Barbara Eden and Catwoman as far as Julie Newmar. Probably Julie Newmar, Barbara Eden, and Melody Patterson, who's passed away now. She was only 16 or 17 in that photo. What a beautiful-looking woman. And once again, what I'm trying to say is just naturally good-looking girls, aren't they? They weren't fake-looking. They're just beautiful-looking bloody... Rafa. That's what Landy... Yeah. Landy. Rafa reckons that Landy. Toto was a good-looking dog in The Wizard of Oz. That's what Rafa reckons too. Toto. Well, that was a good movie. That's one of the best movies. That's got to be up in the best 10 movies of all time for its day and age. That was well done. That was very, very well done. So there you go. What do you reckon of the heartthrobs, guys? How do I go there? There's some good ones there, isn't there? I hope you had a bloody thing. Yeah. Even Debbie says Judy Garland was a beautiful woman. Went off the rails again, like Fame and Fortune, I think, got the Judy Garland. She turned into an alcoholic and whatever, but just sweet and innocent back there where she was doing Wizard of Oz, that's for sure. But I think Fame and Fortune got to Judy, unfortunately. And apparently she wasn't treated very nicely on the set of Wizard of Oz back in the 40s. It was made in the 40s, guys, during the war. So, oh, yeah, Mike Blakely. I knew I'd miss a heap. Farrah Fawcett Majors. Married to Lee, Farrah Fawcett, yeah, absolutely. What a beautiful-looking woman she was too. Raquel Welch. We can keep going. Roachie, we know who Roachie's favourite is. Olivia Newton-John in the Grease get-up. Oh, my goodness. Dorothy, yeah. Dorothy. Well, there you go, guys. So there's some of me childhood sweethearts. Hope you enjoyed it. But we've got one thing to go before we tune off for tonight. We've got a prize giveaway. Mr. Bullet. Mr. Bullet, I'm worried about you. Norman Gunston. I didn't really find him that funny, to tell you the truth. Norman Gunston, I think he was bloody Gary McDonald. I think he's a bit silly at times. Start traveling it. No, mate. No, Chrissy, I'm not. Just going to be doing short trips, mate. Next year, Roz and I will go away for a week here, 2 weeks there, probably 3 weeks during the Legends Camp. We'll do a 3-week trip there, mate. But no big trips again. If I go to West Aussie, it'll be on a plane, mate. We won't be driving over. Yeah, so. Oh, I just thought of one I forgot. Linda Carter, Wonder Woman. Linda Carter out of Wonder Woman. She was another one who did it for me, guys. What a beautiful looking woman she is, and still is. Like, she's in her bloody 70 now, and she's still a stunning looking woman. Righto. Betty White, no, Chasing the Sun. Betty White wasn't one of my childhood sweethearts. What I'm going to do before we sign off for the night, guys, it's been 2.5 hours. Thank God. Imagine how long this would have gone if I got the video clips going. Maybe the video clips would have been quicker than my jibber-jabbering. I'm going to put a photo up now. Now, this is for a new patch kit. The patch kits have left Sydney. They're between Sydney and Cairns, somewhere with on a transport company. They're in the country, and you're going to have a chance to buy them soon, guys. I'm going to do a first ever patch kit set of 4, Buckaroony patch, Rafa, and 2 Gidgee Gorillas. You'll get a set of 4 patches. They'll be for sale soon. This is a giveaway. Jennifer, stop it. Elle McPherson, yeah. What a beautiful looking Aussie girl she was. Elle McPherson. Elle McPherson. Yeah, another one. There's a lot of them out there. I'm going to put 4 famous Australians up. Now, it's going to go off my thing here. I know people have got internet lags and all that. The winner is going to go off what I see on my computer. So I'm going to put 4 famous Aussies up. I want their first names only. Don't expect you to know their last names. I want their first names from left to right. It has to be in order. You can't just say them. I want it. They're clearly left, second left, third left, and then on the right. I want in order their proper first names. 4 famous Australians. Get ready, guys. Get ready on your keyboards. The winner of this, the first one, gets a patch kit. Mr. Buckaroony and Gidgee Gorilla Velcro patch kit for your car or your camper trailer, your drawer system, whatever you can stick them on. You ready? Mike Blakely, I don't expect you to know this one, mate. It's an Australian thing. Get ready, guys, on your keyboards. 4 famous Aussies. First names only, left to right. Must be in order, left to right. Here we go. What are their names? 4 famous Aussies. The Wiggles. Come on. First one gets a patch kit. Velcro patch kit. I'm waiting. I haven't seen it. Everyone's thinking. Steve Phil, no. Freddie Boots, no. Charles Brockley, no. Mike Blakely, not quite. Landy, Greg, Anthony, Murray, and Jeff. Landy Smurf's got it. Landy Smurf has nailed it. He's got the Wiggles, the original 4 Wiggles guys. Greg Page, Anthony, I can't remember their last name. Greg Page. Greg had a heart attack on stage a couple of years ago, guys. The new Wiggles, you wouldn't recognise them. They got all bloody sorts of people. I think Anthony's the only one. Greg, Anthony, Murray, and Wake Up Jeff. There you go. And Captain Feathersword's in the background there. There you go. Landy Smurf has won it. Landy, send us a message or an email or something, mate. Get in touch with me. And bloody, when me patch kits get here next week, I'll post a set down to you, mate. A set of 4 Mr. Buckaroony Velcro patch kits. Buckaroony, Rafa. The Rafa the dog ones look good. And a couple of Gidgee Gorilla ones as well. They'll be available for sale soon, guys. There you go. Well done, Landy. Who else is one? Yellow, blue. Pete the Scale Modeler. Yellow, blue, red, and purple. Yes, Pete. Very well done, mate. Very well done, but not quite what I was after. That's funny, mate. I'll pay that one. Mike Blakely reckons he was Clyde. I reckon, what do you reckon, Jeff? The purple wiggle, he looks a bit like Clint Eastwood. Yeah, but not. Tell you now, I took my daughter Lauren when I was living in Brisbane, guys, in the mid-90s, 94, 95, 96, something like that. I was in the army at 1st Signal Regiment in Brisbane. And Lauren was only a little girl. I took her to watch the Wiggles, thinking it'd be like 50 people there. It was like an AC/DC concert. You should have seen the crowd. It was massive. And I'm talking, it was like they had police directing traffic. It was a big deal. It was massive, and they put on a good show. They were very, very good entertainers. They got Captain Feathersword and all the hanger-oners as well. They put on a fantastic concert for the kids. And I mean, there were thousands there, thousands of kids there. It was a big deal, and they were very, very, very good. I don't know about the new Wiggles. They've got a lot of different young kids there doing the Wiggles. I think Anthony's the only original one there anymore. Yes, and here you go. That's right. Robin, we took our boys to a Wiggles concert. It was awesome. Yeah, I saw I'll tell you who was in the Cockroaches, Chrissy. They were called the Cockroaches. I think Jeff was in the maybe might have been two of them in the Cockroaches. I know Jeff, the Purple Wiggle, Wake Up Jeff. He was definitely in the Cockroaches, a pop band called the Cockroaches. Jeff was in there. Maybe Murray was there as well. Murray's the guitarist. Maybe Murray was they were in a band called the Cockroaches before they became the Wiggles. She's the girl, she's the girl, she's the girl I want, or something was one of their songs. The Cockroaches, I can't believe. Hot potato, cold spaghetti. Yeah, I know all the Wiggles song. The Big Red Car, Hot Potato, that was their best one, Chrissy. Hot Potato, the Wiggles went off. Should have seen the concert, mate. Unbelievable, the concert. They put on a really good show. Anthony, was it? Timmy Lawton there. Tim will know. Tim's in a band himself. It was Anthony and Jeff. Anthony and Jeff were part of the Cockroaches. There you go. Righto. I think we're done. Landy Smurf, well done on winning the patch kit, mate. Keep an eye out next week, guys, when the patch kits get here. I'm going to be putting it up on Facebook and also do a YouTube thing. And you know that all the profits will be going towards charity. If we can sell all 180 kits, we'll be raising about $4,500 for the Legends charity next year. I'm going to hand the money over to the Legends, and that goes towards Southern Arc Downs Animal Shelter and also RACQ Care Flight. Two great charities there that the Legends are supporting next year at the event. And I can't wait for that event next year. It's going to be great. Can't wait to catch up with a lot of you guys. And the Hooly Doolies. There you go. I forgot all about them. There's another bit like similar to the Wiggles, the Hooly Doolies. There you go. Rob the Wanderer, he's all over it. Tim the Tool Man, what do you reckon? You should bloody form a... Here we go. Hang on. Where's my guitar? I'm trying to learn how to play the guitar at the moment, guys. Absolutely useless. Oh, the old D chord. Might help if I tune it too. Bloody hell. Next time you're down here, Tim the Tool Man, I have to get you to show me a few tricks on the guitar, mate. I know a few of the basic chords. Trying to learn how to play Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. There's only 2 chords in that song, and I can't do them. I can't go from G to bloody F. I nearly smashed my guitar the other day. I was getting frustrated. I had to put it down. I could feel my blood rising. I had 2 chords, and it was too hard for me. Dumb as dog shit I am. Paul McCartney was a lefty. Jimi Hendrix was left-handed as well, Rob. Hey, all us gifted lefties? Absolutely. Great live feed, Lukey. Thanks, mate. Get off. I know when people are getting sick of me. Lukey's the new Mr. P, telling me to get off. Hope you've enjoyed tonight, guys. Probably it was a good thing that that the videos didn't work. Otherwise, it would have been an 18-hour marathon. Hope you got something out. Hope you got a bit of a laugh. At least we got to see a couple. It's a shame that the videos, what I will do, I will go on my Facebook page, and maybe Facebook will get the shits with me. I'll put all those videos I was going to show you tonight. I'll put them up on Facebook, and if you do want to watch them, go ahead and watch them, because there's some funny things in there. There really is. And it's a shame we didn't get to see them all tonight, but you get the idea. Something a bit different tonight, guys. We all reminisced about some of our old favourite shows, some of our people when we were young fellas, all the girls and the girls there with bloody Elvis and all that type of stuff, all our childhood crushes. We all know who Snorky had the hots for now, Marsha Brady. That might be a trivia question at the Legends camp out. Who was Snorky's teenage heartthrob when he was a young fella? Marsha Brady, or Maureen McCormick, her real name was. Yeah. Yeah, Glennie J. Yeah, just go to me. Everyone's on Facebook, I think, mate. So go in there. I'll put it up on Facebook, and if you want to watch them, you can. But it's just a shame. I don't know. I can understand if I was trying to make money out of this, that there's copyright in that, but I'm just trying to have a bit of fun and give everyone a laugh. But you can't do anything now, eh? Like bloody copyright and that kills anything. I tried to keep all the music out of the clips because I knew if there was music in there, you'd get copyrighted. But how do these people who do reaction videos to music and that, how do they get away with not being copyrighted? Every second channel on YouTube now is a reaction video. They're doing a reaction to someone else, and they're getting paid for it. So they don't even do the hard work. They sit there and watch someone else's bloody hard work and just do a reaction to it, and they don't get copyrighted. So I don't know. I seem to get copyrighted during the Blackadder one tonight, which is seen, but at least they didn't cut me off totally. They just they kind of give you a warning and go, keep going, mate, and you'll be out of here. So that's why I had to go and just go to the stills. I had a backup plan. Turns out I had to use it. Anyway, good night, everyone. Hope you enjoyed. I know it's late down there. It's 10 o'clock down south. Mike Blakely, God knows what time it is over in Colorado, mate. Thank you again for being on there. Who else did we have? Andy Riches was on. Great live stream. Thanks a lot, Andy. Hope you're well. Steve W. I didn't see Steve on. I was going to try and get Steve W. on because of a lot of British comedies and that. And Steve, he was busy and couldn't do it, guys. So anyway, few new names on tonight too. Carolyn Columbus, thank you for watching. Pete Scale Modeler. I don't know if I know you or not, mate. That's a new name, unless you've got a new name there. Chrissy Krug's back on. Yeah, good night, Mike. Hope everything's well, mate. And I'll get in touch with you soon, mate. And actually, can you just send me your address, because I want to send you a patch kit over. Few international guests that Andy Riches, you're the same, mate. Get on Messenger or something, mate. Mr. Buckaroony, send me a message. Steve W, I think I've got his. Andy, Mike Blakely, bloody overseas guests. Send me your address, guys, and I want to send you a Velcro patch kit. Mr. Buckaroony, Rafa, and the Gidgy Gorilla, so you can stick them on your car or something over there. Just as a bit of a way of saying thank you for tuning in from overseas. I really appreciate it, guys. Mike, I know you have to get up at Sparrowfart in the morning, mate, to watch my live feeds, unless I do one Sunday morning. Really appreciate it, mate. You know that. So I want to send you a patch kit over. Anyway, good night, everyone. Glennie J, Terry, Dicko, 97 still on. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed the night. Hope we had a bit of a laugh. Something different, eh? Beats watching TV anyway. Good night. Take care, and we'll talk to you again soon, eh? Get ready for those patches. They'll be here next week. Good night, everyone.